I'm so excited to share this Gemini new moon with you. This is world creation. This is mutable, crazy, amazing energy. This is a Mars square Pluto. This is Gemini planets shine Pluto. This is Saturn squaring Gemini planets and the mutability of the Pisces planets and the Gemini planets and all of this mutable energy. This is an opening square of Mars and Pluto. This is an amazing world building time. You want to capitalize on this energy, y'all. You want to absolutely implement your projects, begin, start, do, take action, follow through, continue, like get the momentum going and then keep it going. Be the person that you want to be 2 years from now. Be that now and practice every day showing up as that person, even if it's like this exercise, not an act, but like that whole fake it till you make it in a positive way, not being an authentic, but really kind of like getting yourself in that state of being, of an excitement, even when you don't quite feel like it, because you have to kind of trick yourself into new states of attitudes, of moods, of energies, of emotions, of being, and like step into believing in yourself at the highest level. Think of your future self in 2 years and 1 year and 6 months and make her proud of you. Make your 6 month future self really proud of you now and what you committed to and the momentum that you kept going through all of the little tough challenging moments or when you would have given up or when you would have went and watched TV. It's not about not taking care of yourself. It's about taking care of yourself even more than you usually do. And it's about really using your imagination and all this mutable energy to build your world, create your world, and using this opening square. We're going to get into all of this. This is an exciting time. I don't want you to miss out. I do want to say one thing about that. If you are having a broken leg, or if you're taking care of your mother and something happened, it's okay. Everything moves in cycles and seasons. So you're not going to ultimately miss out. I just want you to actually understand what this moment is right now. It's huge. And so even if you do have a broken leg or you are taking care of your mother or something like that happened, you can still do something. So whether it's writing an intention, putting an outline in place, making a plan, like take some physical action, tangible action, though. That is something that's important about this energy. Don't just do this in your mind. This is not a mental exercise, even though that might seem anathema to all this Gemini air energy. Let's get into all of this. I'm going to pull up the chart for you. I'm Dove Hotep, pro astrologer and life coach and founder of Light Goddess, a business, community, and movement of soul mission driven women building prosperity, changing the world, reclaiming our leadership and our place in this world as the feminine, as women. And women really are the hinge pin to all of society moving into the light, moving into a partnership model, an egalitarian world and society where we all do the normal human thing and like care and give a shit about each other. So only 15% of the world that is the patriarchy, the narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, only 15% of the world. So the rest of us need to reclaim our place in this world. Okay, leaders amongst leaders, Aquarian. So that Aries autonomy and that Aquarian, y'all. Remember, the whole 12 signs are our whole world. And I teach astrology in this way that this is what you should have learned in kindergarten. Astrology is life. All of life is astrology. And when you understand that, you understand how to navigate every moment, even when you feel confused. So I want you to look at something right here. So you might see this little itty bitty Pluto here and this little miniature Pluto here. These are the nodes of Pluto. So astrologers, you hear me talking about the nodes all the time. And we're talking about these nodes, the nodes of the moon. And the nodes of the moon currently are in the Aries Libra axes. They change every 18 months. And I've been belaboring them and talking about them crazy large amounts for ever since they changed last July. They're going to be here until January. And so these are the emotional lessons that we're dealing with at any given time as the collective for 18-month cycles. Okay, so erasing these nodes of the moon, and when astrologers say the nodes, that's what they're talking about. They're not bodies in space, they're calculated points of the moon. But all of the planets also have nodes, and the nodes of Pluto, everyone alive today has the south node of Pluto in Capricorn in their natal birth chart, and the north node of Pluto in Cancer in their natal birth chart. And that's also where they are right now and where they will remain for another 400 or 500 years. So they won't start changing until about 2600. So we're talking five and a half, 550 years from now. So we're talking a really long time from now. And they'll phase in and out of the new sign for about 250 years. Setting that aside, what these nodes denote is where we're growing, this north node in Cancer, and I'm going to get to that, and the south node in Capricorn. So what the south node meaning the past, what is not good, the shadow, what we're conditioned to, where we need to evolve out of and take the gifts, is patriarchy. Patriarchy, like, if you're on this channel, Light Goddess YouTube, Light Goddess podcast, Light Goddess TikTok, if you are here following me, you know that the patriarchy is not white men, that's a costume that it has come in for a very long time. And yes, like, I'm going to talk about networks here later, and we'll get into a little bit of that. But it's narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths that have been at the helm of the old world, the old paradigm, and that's what we're shifting. And so this is the past. And I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about these nodes in a moment, because if you notice, all the planets are over here. And then if you kind of notice, the north node and south node are making that cardinal cross. So this is a cardinal cross. There's the mutable cross, while the mutable planets, the fixed cross, and then there's a cardinal cross. And so this is the cardinal cross. And what's fascinating about this is everything I'm going to get into in this forecast is that this Aries is about our autonomy, sovereignty, having our own unique individual identity, owning our no and yes, speaking our needs, stating our boundaries, and upholding our own boundaries. It's not for other people to listen to our boundaries, although our healthy people in our life do, or do their best. But it is for us to uphold our boundaries. It is for us to speak our needs, whether they can be met by the other person or not. And even by well-meaning people or loving people, they can't always be met. But and speaking our no and yes, Aries doesn't think it's doing anything wrong to be like, I don't like this, I do like this. Okay, so leaving that aside. And then the Libra, all about relationships, but about relationships that are involving distinctions and like that have the Aries inside of them. I'm going to set that aside for a minute and go back to these nodes with all of the planets over here. So this is the past from where we come from. So everyone alive has this in their natal birth chart. That means that everyone today is dealing with the patriarchy, meaning that that's what we're tasked with in humanity. All of us that are awakened, all of us that want good for humanity, want to help humanity evolve, to heal, to grow, that are working towards our growth edge, that are working to bring our genius to this world, that are wanting to help others, that are wanting to stop being limited by imposter syndrome and self-doubt, that want to basically fix what's been broken. I don't always love to say it that way, but to restore, to heal. Heal means to restore, to regain strength. It means to resolve completely. What was stolen during the goddess era times, during the witch trials, that women's prosperity, women's wealth, and all humans living in alignment with cosmic law, with universal truth. So this patriarchy is what we're dismantling, deconstructing. We're deconstructing it, all the programs and conditioning from our own psyche. And we're moving towards this Cancer. So what's this Cancer? So you would think like, oh, it's the feminine. And this is true, but not the feminine as opposed to the hyper masculine and toxic masculinity and the industrial fascism and all of the psychopathy and all of that. But what Cancer really is emotional inner security. Cancer is self-image. Cancer is security, not based on externals, not based on money, house, status, because Capricorn is status seeking. It's really, really caught up and preoccupied with what other people think in the shadow of Capricorn. That's distorted Capricorn. That's shadow Capricorn. And Cancer is our self-image. It's the fourth sign. And so when we get to that fourth sign after the first three, we get to self-image and cementing forms into place. It's the forms. And so, that's why, Cancer's home and family, and it's our early life, right? Our early childhood. But Cancer is about emotional inner security. So if you have emotional inner security, then there's nothing you can't go out into the world to do. You can speak on stages, you can write your book, you can dream impossible dreams and go and make them happen. Like make $1 million in a month, make $1 million in a year. Maybe making 60K a year is really feels anxiety producing for you right now. Maybe as a woman in your own business, just speaking on social media is hard. And I work with really adventurous, audacious women who are driven towards some bigger purpose that helps humanity. And so, we're always working on impossible goals. We're always working on reaching beyond our comfort zone, stretching ourselves hugely. And, we're not set up systemically or institutionally to be supported in that in any way. And that's why it's so important to build your networks. I'm going to get into that a little bit here. Last point here on the nodes, why this is important is because all of the planets have been on this side of the nodes. All the planets met up with that south node of Pluto earlier this year, and then met up with Pluto, evolution, transformation, destruction of what doesn't allow you to transform and grow and evolve. Pluto, also power and fear, which is in evolution and growing. And, like we were like, power dynamics. Will people let you grow and evolve? Will they try to thwart you and control you and dominate you? The old system trying to dominate and thwart. Like we had the Me Too movement, we had the walk on, Women's March on Washington, and then we had bam, Roe v. Wade coming in trying to dominate women. And what is the Palestinian war? If nobody knows what it is, Palestine used to be Canaan, which used to be a goddess culture time. That is the root of the root of the root of this conflict that's been going on, since time immemorial. What it really is the patriarchy trying to destroy goddess culture, trying to destroy the feminine, trying to suppress the feminine, suppress natural, being in alignment with the interconnectedness of all of life and what is natural for all humans and egalitarian societies. You have to remember that the men in goddess culture times, we had an egalitarian, men and women equal society. So just because we were goddess worshiping and understood that women birth both men and women, no, a woman does not come from a man's rib. That's a dark co-opting of the truth that women birth children, both male and female. And so we worshiped the goddess as the creatrix of the world. I'm not saying we should go back to those times. Nothing is ever perfect, but that's why that was the case. We're moving into a new time of Aquarian, but we need to reclaim living in alignment. We used to live in alignment. We used to have an egalitarian society. We used to have a partnership model of the world. That's where all of our modern day technology comes from. Indoor plumbing, paved roads, and architecture from goddess culture era, 100,000 year period where fear was nearly eradicated. And how could you have fear nearly eradicated? Like, just think about what that would take, what that would mean. Has to exist and what has to not exist. And what happened is Kurgan bands of authoritarian, males came and killed the men in this culture and took the effeminate men and the women as slaves. Just think about that. Like, think about what that means, that the men in these egalitarian cultures who were egalitarian, who had these same value systems, where we had peace, where we had fear nearly eradicated, where we were evolving as a species, were killed. It's just think about that. So all of the planets, so lastly about this North Node is we're growing to reclaim our inner security that's not built on external things. It's not built on relationships. It's not built on ideas or religions or comfort zones of our limbic brain being like, I need the other person. I can't go to the movies alone. I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. It's like, you got to feel comfortable in your own fucking skin and your own authority and your own identity and your own self out in the world. Like, this is what astrology is. It's teaching us like how to be autonomous, vibrant, creative beings. Because if we didn't have the world and all the patriarchy, what would we have? We would have this amazing world where we would just be creating, where we'd be expanding, where we would be evolving and growing. That's what we would be doing with our life. Like, everyone would be adding their medicine and their creativity and their energy, and we would have sexual liberation and freedom, and we'd have freedom of people and ideas and thoughts and beings, and we would just be like having this amazing world. Like, we have to stop letting people make us think war is okay. We have to stop having all of these fucked up ideas conflated with the truth ideas, all mixed together in like completely anathema stories that are like really part of the problem. Is people are mixing truths in with the spells and then like having that as their narrative for life. It's it's just, this is where we need to grow, y'all. Okay, so all the planets met up with Pluto's south node getting information. So let's just go back for a minute so that we can go forward. So if we go back, not that far. So if we go back, you can see how all of the planets started to come and meet up with Pluto's south node. So we have the sun, and then Mercury is going to come along and meet up with the south node of Pluto. And Mars and Venus. Mars was actually moving faster than Mercury at that time. But all of these, we didn't really have like the full larger stellium in Capricorn as we have had in Aquarius and Pisces and Aries this year and Taurus. But look at how the planets have been grouping up, right? And so they all met up with the south node of Pluto. And then they met up with Pluto. So the sun and Pluto have a conjunction every year, once a year. It's a big deal. It's a start of a new cycle. It's important. And then we had the sun have that opening square to Pluto when it came into Taurus. So all of the other planets as well moved in conjunct and started, like basically had a conversation with Pluto's south node about the past, about what we're leaving behind, about what we need to evolve from, what we need to grow from, deconstructing the patriarchy, making a lot of the collective aware of the patriarchy and the programs, waking up. A lot of people don't have the language, but they're waking up. in ways that they couldn't necessarily tell you, but you can see it. If you're awake, you can see how they're waking up and opening to things they were never open to, closing down to old ways of life that they are starting to realize are unfair, that are not equitable, that are not right for all people, that don't make sense, that are not in alignment with natural truth and natural law. And so on and on, all the planets came in conjunct Pluto, started new cycles. And then, Mars Pluto conjunction was really important. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And the Sun Pluto conjunction was really important. Okay. And talk to that. And this is when all the planets started to be on the other side of Pluto's south node. Okay. And so February 14th, was Pluto Mars conjunction. Right here. Why is this really important, y'all? Because right now, today, we have the opening square between Mars and Pluto. This is world building time. This is world creation time. Do your projects, write the book, make the outline, cement in your financial planning, your numbers, your vision, but take physical action in the physical world. That is so important. It's not just to think ideas and do ideas and brainstorming. If that's all you can do because you're laid up in bed, that's not really true, because there's computers. So you can take action. You can make things. Your intellectual property, Gemini, is a real thing that is yours, that you own. So this opening square happened in February. So think about February to now, June. June 6th is this Gemini new moon. And think about everything that's went down, that's prepared you for this time now, that you can act, that you can implement, that you can believe in yourself. You can step into being the person who is who you really want to be in 6 months, a year, 2 years. Okay. Let's go through this really easy breezy. So do you see how all the planets are in Aquarius like this, and Pluto's hanging out in Aquarius, right? And why this is important is look at the signs. So this is where all the signs are right here. You can see how Chiron, the moon, Erisine, and the North Node are all in Aries, right? Right here, Aries. This is all Pisces, Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces. And this is all Aquarius, right? Pay attention to that, because I'm going to show you that this is February 14th of this year. Now, as the weeks go on, in February, we had that water world began. We had the moon move into Pisces, quickly followed by Mercury moving into Pisces. So we had 4 planets in Pisces right here, if you see this right here. And so it was water world. It was so emotional. It was so like lost, misty, out to sea. What am I doing? But think about how all the planets just came and talked to Pluto's south node. All of the planets are now on this side of Pluto's nodes. Pluto is evolution. Pluto is our soul. It's correlated to your soul in your natal birth chart. It is our soul. It is the world soul. It is evolution, transformation. It is what we're doing. It's the whole point that any of this physical reality exists at all. And so all of the planets were in Pisces. We had that February water world time of like emotions and out to sea and all of that. And we had that, Mars, Pluto before that. Okay, so then go, weeks forward, the planets start to move, and we have Mercury moving into Aries, Venus finally moving into Pisces, and now again in March, we have 4 planets back in Pisces again. But we have Mercury that moved into Aries. And so we started to have more of like our mind could actually have more grounding, to think more clearly, to go in a direction, Aries, to initiate, to have that fire energy kind of cleaning up, clearing up, evaporating some of the water. And of course, we had eclipse season, and that eclipse season was hugely shifting, basically turning the energies upside down and creating all new energies to move forward. And if we keep going, the planet started to move into Aries, and then there's a really important time that I want to denote okay, so this is one thing I wanted to denote here, is that Erisina, all of the planets, the other thing about all the planets grouping up in signs like this is that it's not common. This isn't common. The other thing about them being on all one side of Pluto's nodes, also that they're all, making, huge stelliums in one sign. Also that planets are coming and conjoining, meaning that they're coming in and beginning new cycles, starting new things, closing out old cycles, endings, beginnings, deaths and rebirths, deconstructing the ways reality was before, with Saturn in a mutable Pisces, mutable sign of Pisces, of like deconstructing, whereas Pisces is also already closing out old cycles and endings and completions and culminations, fruitions. And then we have the sign of reality, structure, and karma, Saturn, the planet rather, Saturn in that sign of completions and endings and deaths and rebirth and all of that. So it's death and rebirth. Both. Pisces is the alpha and omega. It's the invisible that creates the tangible, visible world existing at all. And so we have this energy, right? And so in April, this is March, and we had that energy in March, and all of the eclipses, the eclipse cycle. We had the big Aries eclipse with the moon was 19 degrees. So when the sun gets to 19 Aries, you see how finally we had the planets in March get out of Pisces. So we finally started to get out of that lost feeling and finally feel like we had energy to move forward. We sort of knew what we were doing, but we were deep in eclipse season, and we were going to have these big transformational eclipse coming up, and also the big transformational Jupiter-Uranus conjunction coming up. And so April 20th, we had that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction coming up. There's a reason why I'm going through all of this, you all. And that was a 14-year cycle. And if you really sit down and look 14 years back and really look at everything that transpired in that context, that specific context, you will blow your mind and blow your mind again and blow your mind again about everything that went down, everything that you've been through, everything that's leading up to this moment right now. Even if you have a broken leg, even if it's not like your most can really act in the world in the bigger way, and you feel like a little bit like things are going down, it's still the time. It's still this beginning, this launch moment. This is a launch moment. This is a button pushing moment. Now, I'm not saying necessarily the launch of the project into the world, like the greater launch. I'm saying launching as in finally implementing everything you've been thinking about, planning, deconstructing, reconstructing, losing the plot, like going through all the wounds and the pain, and then like loss and challenges and difficulties and being thwarted and interfered with and all of these things. This is finally where you launch forward and begin what is a 2-year cycle that is building worlds, building your world, building what you want to exist. Like you are in it now, you are building it now, you are living it now. And also this is what's going to be coming to fruition over these next 2 years. This is exciting time, and Gemini is exciting energy. It's fast-paced energy. And so we had all of this energy. Mars conjunct Eris Xena is really important. And God, I thought I wrote down the date for that, but maybe I didn't. but then we had everything move into Taurus, and Taurus is really a seed planting time. Taurus is like tangible reality, making things real. But we really couldn't, like, as much as we had Aries and Taurus energy, if you really think about that time of April and May, it still wasn't like, you still really couldn't take action, still really couldn't do the thing. There was just too many issues, difficulties, confusions. Mars barely had gotten out of Pisces at the end of April, even though we had all these planets in Taurus. What we were doing is we were in these endings, completions, fruitions, culminations, and these new beginnings. And when new beginnings happen, just like in February when the Mars Pluto conjunction happened, when new beginnings happen, we are it's like it's the confusion of birth. There's a lot going down, there's crying and tears, and is the baby breech, and like all of the goo, and doing the right thing, like making sure the baby goes onto the mother's skin, making sure you don't wipe the goo off, don't cut the umbilical cord too soon until it finishes giving all the nutrients to the baby. I mean, there's so many things that are so important, but it is very, it's a known quantity, especially to women and to like non-allopaths, but it's also confusion and new, and maybe experience you haven't experienced if it's your first birth. Like it's very, there's so much, you could say chaos, but not in chaotic way, if that makes sense. Like I hope that's landing, that makes sense for like what we've gone through, what we've experienced, and why we couldn't really make things tangible and real and launch. We were dealing with endings and beginnings and completions and new cycles, and like going throughout time in our mind, and like really figuring out like what did we all go through. You have to look here in Taurus, with all these planets in Taurus, Mercury had slowed down, Venus had sped up, and Jupiter was starting to near the end of Taurus. So Mercury, that was moving faster for a while, started to slow back down, and it was hanging out in Aries. And so it wasn't really where our mind could make things tangible. Our mind was kind of like behind. And so I was hearing a lot of people saying like, oh, this is seed planting time, and the Taurus new moon is like the most, manifesting and generative time of the year. But that's just wasn't the truth of the energies with what was all going on. We had this gnarly eclipse season. All of the energies were being shifted out of where they were and put into new gears. New gears were being put into place. And when new gears are put into place, the clutch is in, the clutch isn't out. You're not going. The car is still moving, but you're not actually being able to push the gas pedal and go. It's just that the car has this momentum. So we had a momentum. We were going in a direction. We knew much was shifting and happening, but we were also still moving back through the past in our mind and collecting all of the important data about what we have been through in the last 15 years and our whole lifetime, in the last 20 years, all these different cycles, but particularly like this 15-year cycle. And so this is what's been going on leading up to this time right now, where we have the planets that have moved into Gemini with the Sun, and then Jupiter and Venus. And as of Monday, when I'm filming this, June 3rd, we have 4 planets in Gemini, and we're going to have 5. So let's talk about this Gemini energy a little bit here. So let's look at this actual, good. Okay, so let's look at this actual new moon, Gemini new moon. 5 planets in Gemini. So already from this weekend, before this week of the new moons, I'm filming this on Monday. This will come out. Maybe you're watching this Monday or Tuesday, the 3rd or 4th of June. And this weekend, if you think about this weekend, we've already had this Mars Pluto Square activated So yes, aggro, aggressions, people not getting along, but why aren't people getting along? Because people are standing up for themselves and they're not taking shit no more. But then other people that aren't used to that are like, well, what the hell is this? Oh, no, I'm not going to let that happen. And then fighting and arguing and upset. And so, this is a natural product of the humanity claiming its power once again, claiming its empowerment once again, because there's these themes of victimhood and victimhood, shedding learned helplessness that comes from the patriarchy. All of us in this culture have learned helplessness from this fucking culture. We leave a lot of empowerment on the table, particularly as women. We leave a lot of empowerment on the table. And so like you may think you're empowered in all of these ways, maybe with brushing your teeth, maybe with paying your bills, maybe with like having worked a corporate gig and really have been really successful, but now you're going out on your own in your own business, maybe with people and networking, maybe in all of these ways you're really empowered and you've gotten a lot done and you've really had a lot of accomplishment and success and you believe in yourself. But there's all these other ways you leave empowerment on the table. And here's a great example. I met with a woman who had 15 books published, just got her book on the New York Times, and yet still she had an inferiority thing going on where she was always like trying to present with the superiority and this haughtiness and this snobbery, but like it was just a coping mechanism for the inferiority that she felt that she was trying to resolve with achievement and accomplishment instead of Cancer Pluto North Node, instead of resolving it from the inside out, instead of resolving it from within, which is what my dimensions method in my 6-month root cause coaching program does for my clients. It resolves the inner inferiority that's making you trying to fix your inferiority with your accomplishments and your achievements. And that means that your accomplishments and your achievements will never actually have the true stature that they should have. Not stature as in like the hierarchy and the like the old paradigm way, but the stature as in like the medicine that they bring to the world, the balm that they are for all of us weary souls out there that need you. We all need each other. We all need to be interconnected, helping each other. And that's why women need to reclaim our networks. I'm going to go back to that. And so with all of this energy in Gemini, I want you to think about Gemini. There's some really important things. So Gemini energy is ambulatory, so it makes you want to like move and go and shit, and it's like really fast moving energy. It's one of the fastest signs in the zodiac. And so everyone when when they're driving, they're like jamming and pushing your car with their energy and their vehicle. Like, so watch out for people. You be the one that's aware and ready to be a defensive driver, getting out of the way of people who are not the fuck paying attention. People are distractible like fucking crazy. It's a high level distractibility. I'm sure there's some statistic that we could look at after this period and see how the accidents increased at this time, because people are distracted, because Gemini energy is so much information. It's so much like squirrel chasing this thing and that thing and this idea and that idea. It's like basically feeling like you're in the center and you're literally being pulled all around you in 10 different directions. Like literally, like I have had myself and many people report the same sort of metaphor for how we're feeling. But particularly this weekend, I felt like this. Like I was just literally being pulled from 10 directions. And it was just like, is this crazy energy. Some people are feeling like just so much energy and so much spiritual energy and so much spiritual downloading that they just can't funnel it into an effective like project, getting things done, tangible things. So I really implore you to lower caffeine, make sure you're exercising, walking, and doing something to expel some of the excess energy. Understand what's going on, and that will alone will just help in and of itself. Understand also this is just a short blip. It's not long, truly, and Venus and the planet's going to start to move into Cancer, and that Cancer energy is going to water this air energy down. And also we're going to have the solstice and so forth. And so this isn't for long, but this is a buzzy good energy. So this energy is high level, it's buzzy, it's talky, it's loquacious, it's extra. It's very, very extra. It's extra on your vices. So all of your vices and addictions and all of the ways you buffer and don't work on your big goals and do your projects. I'm telling you, this is world building time. You don't want to miss out on this energy. So don't let yourself buffer. Don't let yourself overwatch TV, over clean, over take care of the kids, overdo everything else except your actual mission, your sole purpose, your work that you are meant to bring into this world, because someone out there needs your medicine. They need your help. They need your spirit. They need your inspiration. They need your encouragement. They need to see your success so they can believe in their own success. We need to change this world together. We want to capitalize on this time. We want to take advantage of this time. This is an advantageous time, and you want to act. So this can be a really mental energy because Gemini is an air sign. It's mutable. So it's like mutable. It's like that's the energy right now. That's like one of the best ways I can put it. And so we want to contain it and draw it down and grounding, meaning literally put your feet on the earth, go look in nature and go for a walk and say, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I feel? And it will ground you. Do meditative processes, take less caffeine, and then expel the energy through exercise and movement. Gemini wants to move, so taking a drive or taking a walk will help you calm all the mental energy. But be careful when you're driving. Be careful when you're out there in the world, because a lot of the world is going to be distracted and all over the place and very zoomy and not paying attention. And so people are going to be veering into your lane, trying to do multiple things at once, particularly while driving and doing dangerous things like that. Gemini is multiplicity. It's doing multiple things at once. So people are going to be multitasking a lot right now when they should be doing it less, actually, because just because you can do it doesn't mean you're effective at doing it. Okay. So all of that I want you to be aware of, so you can be the one that's safe, so you can be the one that's aware, conscious, awake, and avoiding dangerous situations and scenarios. Okay. Let me go back just a couple of days here to this Mars Erisina conjunction. So on June 3rd, Monday, today, when I'm recording this, is this Erisina conjunction. So this is also the day when the moon is making that square to Pluto. And again, it's launch, not as in the project's completed and now you put it out to the public. That is the case for some people and where they're at in their projects. So for some of you, that's definitely the case. But for a lot of us, this is launch as in like create the momentum, create the habits, create the new default. Okay, so this is a new default creating time. This is ending the old 15 years. This is ending the past. This is ending learned helplessness and victimhood. This is ending thinking that you are stuck, thinking that the world and your circumstances control you. I know you can have some really challenging circumstances. Believe me, I've been in hells that nobody knows even exists, okay? But I'm telling you, this is the time to imagine. It's mutable energy. You have to use your mind and your imagination and reclaim the power that you have to create worlds. You have power. You have way more power than you ever thought you had. You have so much power. It is really, truly through your imagination, through what you think, through your energy and your emotions. Use your power, your emotions, your mind, your imagination, your energy to be, feel, do, act, and believe in who you want to be, what you want to create, what you want to have and do and be, and what you want to see this world as. This is the time like no other to do it. And this Mars Erisina conjunction. If you don't know about Erisina, I call her Erisina because of Heather Ainsworth's work. You can check her out. She's done amazing work on a lot of different topics, but she does this great work on Erisina, and she calls her Erisina versus Eris because she's denoting this this understanding of this planet and reclaiming the true narrative of her from the patriarchy as a powerful warrior goddess who at first was seeking revenge for the evil and depravity that was done to her own family and her own self, rape and murder and all these horrible things done to her own family and herself, and how at first she wanted to seek revenge, and that's what she did, and kind of went on this rampage. But then she came to and was like, this isn't the way. I'm just doing what they're doing. I'm no different. I'm just doing the same thing. So what I want to express to you is that revenge is a natural phase on the healing journey, and it's okay. So many of my clients that go through narcissistic abuse, that go through childhood abuse, but they're finally, it's finally been bubbling up to be healed and to be dealt with. And it now's the time when things arise. It's arising to heal. It's arising for a reason. So many of my clients are getting out of toxic situations, are finally reclaiming their belief in themselves and their ability to create money in their own business, whatever it is, or to level up in their business to the next level, because they've been kind of like staying at this, this 100K, but you can't really do a lot with 100K, not with inflation and not in most cities in the US, particularly Toronto or San Francisco or larger cities. Like, you're not going to do much with that. Naples, I mean, so you really want to be in this 300K mark where now you have fluidity of life. You can pay for the things you want in life. You can pay for healthcare, self-care, your children, good schooling, good education. You can pay for growing and expanding your business. You can pay to start building things in your life and in your business where you can really, truly help humanity, boots on the ground level, not performative philanthropy. Okay. So Aristina, she went through this phase of revenge. It's a normal, I help all my clients understand so often that it's a normal phase to go through. It's not wrong. It's about whether you stay in it, and it's about what you do when you're in it. So that's the thing. So Aristina helps us with that understanding. Also, Aristina is outside of the status quo because she's an asteroid that orbits beyond the ecliptic. So she is outside the status quo. She doesn't function in the patriarchy. She doesn't function in the status quo. She doesn't function in the conventional way of life or traditions or mainstream. And no offense, but who would want to? I mean, it's there's no measure. It is not a measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society. A lot of people need to get that quote like burned into their brain because they're trying to be what this mainstream says is right, good, healthy, pious, holy. Enough. It's enough. We need to wake up on every level from every spell and program and conditioning inside our psyche soul. Eris Xena also talks about sisterhood. We need to build networks. So this is what I kept denoting. We need to build networks. Mars Eris Xena conjunction, new beginning, because Mars cycles are 2-year cycles. So this is a new 2-year cycle, and this is a conjunction. So in October, we're going to have the opening Mars Eris Xena square, and that's going to be similar to this time right now where it's going to be time to act. So with this conjunction right now, it's time to start thinking and percolating and dreaming and implementing and figure like knowing that this is what you want to do, start taking actions and movements, start attempting and experimenting. And then in October, when the square happens, it's going to be time to launch that. And so building networks, we have to understand that white men have been building networks for 2,000 years. They have networks, they help each other, and it's institutional and it is systemic. Women do not have networks like white men do, and especially different demographics of women, and especially women that have been impoverished, or if you're a different demographic race, if you are, I mean, women, like it's not super common. And so we need to build networks with each other. We need to get over the competition. We need to get over that inferiority issue, like I was talking about the, this woman that I encountered, where like just our contact with each other, that inferiority was triggered within her. And so like she couldn't meet me in just this authentic, genuine place, and us to have a conversation, and us to enjoy each other's work and believe in each other and support each other. Her inferiority was making her act and show up superior. And I didn't react to it. I could see what it was, but there's not much place for me to go. I tried to support her. I tried to acknowledge and validate and just be a true authentic soul, like here to just be, network, to be helping. And she just couldn't do it, and ended up blowing up, and and ending that. And that's what sucks so bad, is our own triggers, our own inferiority, our own inadequacy will make us destroy our own networks. And we need to stop doing that. Not only do we need to be kind to the person on the other side if they're having that come up, but we need to be kind to ourselves when we have it come up within ourselves and see it for what it is, hoping that the other person can be kind to us. And we need to understand it and realize that it's a doorway. I help my clients in my 6-month coaching program to understand that our triggers and our inadequacy and our inferiority is the doorway to everything that we want to create, to overcoming all of it, to speak on stage, to bring our magic and our genius to this world. Write your books, make your workshops, do your projects, bring your clients in, make money as a woman, speak your beautiful genius and medicine into this world. It's time. It's long since time. And yes, it's a journey, but our triggers and our inadequacies and our inferiorities are a doorway. So we don't want to just react to somebody else having that come up. We don't want to put ourselves down if we are reacting in ways that aren't so great, and we end a relationship and we didn't mean to, or whatever. We want to give ourselves a break and understand what it is that's going on. But it's so important for women. Like, we need to heal. We need to heal. Healing just means resolution. So most people don't know what the fuck healing means, because the word is so watered down. People think it means putting crystals on your chakras and everything else that you can think of. Healing actually means resolution. So I'm a root cause healer. What I truly do is healing, but I don't use that word much because people like might think that I put crystals on chakras. I don't do that. What I do is I go to the root of the root of the root of your obstacles, problems, and blocks, and we resolve that to completion. So I help people heal deep childhood wounds that they didn't realize that was causing their current imposter syndrome. I help people heal past life weird patterns and traumas and craziness. We don't even always necessarily have to know exactly what it was, but because I'm psychic, I can see the patterns and what it is, and that's where it stems from. It's a root of the root of the root cause, and we can heal that, and it's been causing the problem. But they've tried to do it on every other level and every other way, and it's never worked because it wasn't the root cause. It wasn't the root of the root. And that's what I do with my clients in my 6-month coaching program. That's what I help people with. And so we need to understand our triggers, our doorways into our healing. And we need to understand that healing is actually just resolution and completion. It's restoration. It's restoration. Okay. And one of the things we're restoring as women is our wealth, our prosperity. We have to understand that we owned land. The witch trials were actually a land grab for our wealth and prosperity. We owned land. Now only 3 to 13% of women own land in the world. We need to change this. Women are the hinge pin to all of humanity being an egalitarian world once again. Okay. So this Eris Xena Mars conjunction is gathering our sisters and also doing the inner healing work that keeps us from building our network as women. We need to help each other. We need to support each other. We need to trade. We need to give information. We need to share information. We need to share resources. We need to, purchase from each other. We need to keep the women's economy. We need to keep our money flowing into the women's economy. So think about this. So I got the statistic from Carolyn Casey, who I'm sure looked up the actual statistic, but she was talking about how in a Jewish community, a dollar will go around like 8 times before it leaves the community. So it will actually make money for the community. So $1 will make more money and end up being like $1.50 or $1.80 and go around to 8 different businesses or will circulate in the Jewish community before it leaves to, billionaires of like alcohol or tobacco sales or gambling sales, lottery. But in an inner city, it will be like 80 cents. It will hardly go around at all before it gets flushed out to billionaires and to corporations that are not doing anything good for humanity, gambling and alcohol and porn and whatever. And so we have to understand that as women, we have a woman's economy. We want to keep our dollars going to women. We want to be circulating money amongst ourselves. We want to be supporting each other, supporting women's economy, because we are changing the world. Women just deeply and so I'm generalizing here. So please understand, I'm not doing a Scorpio all or nothing. This is a very complex topic. Okay, so please understand that piece. I don't want to get in the weeds and water this down, but I am generalizing to some degree, but there's so much truth as well that a percentage of it's where women really, there's so many statistics where women help the world, women give back like 80%, whereas men give back like 35%. 80% women help our community. And when we make money, we give back to our community and help our communities 85% versus men about 35%. Like, just look at that. Look at the difference that women make in the world versus the difference that men make in the world. You have to remember that men, unfortunately, are systemically and institutionally set up to continue being in the patriarchy rather than dismantling it, because they're not so like women are so disproportionately and wildly hurt and abused and affected by it in a way that's so acute and obvious, and we've just been waking up and waking up and waking up, that we are deconstructing the patriarchy from within our own psyche, whereas men are not as supported, and they don't also understand like the benefit or understand how it's not good for them, or don't even like kind of like put the two and two together as much. And so it's like we're going to be bringing them along for the ride. We're going to be, I hate this whole bullshit about let's make it safe for men. No, I don't need to do that. They need to do their own fucking work. But obviously we're a human family, and we need to support each other as a whole. But they got some work to do, and they really need to do their own damn work. It's not my job to do their work. It's just like it's not a Black person's job to help a white person overcome their own racism. No, it's not, a Native American's person's job to help a white person overcome their guilt. Fuck that. No, and it's the same with women and men. And men will never be. I made this amazing quote on my personal Instagram, that's Peace Hotep, at Peace Hotep, about patriarchy. It's one of my last posts, where I talk about, that a man will never be a woman's ally until he understands that a woman has to like literally protect herself physically, energetically, psychically, and economically on a daily basis. She faces being touched, assaulted, hurt, jeered at, stared at. Men think they're entitled to stare at our bodies, touch at our bodies, look at our bodies. Like men do not understand a woman's everyday life, that she has to like be second guessing even taking an Uber by herself, and what psychopath this guy might be. Like she has to go like make sure she has something on her phone that tells her friends where she's at all times, in case the Uber driver turns out, or the taxi driver turns out to be, a psychopath and takes her off into an alley. Like men will never understand the lengths that we have to go to just to be protected. And just the absolute outrageousness of a man to ever say, oh, it's what you were wearing, or it's what you were doing, or you were drunk, when like as if women don't have the fucking right to be alone out in the world, having fun, living life, being on the adventure. Like I go to this show of this Austin band that I love, and they like make this beautiful musical vortex of bliss, But unfortunately, their fucking audience is a bunch of fucktards that are mostly there for the party and not the music. And they don't they don't tell their audience to get it together. And I'm kind of like really, really starting to have a more negative vibe towards the band more and more and more, that they're allowing their audience to treat women like shit. Like every single show, the last like 4 or 5 shows I've been to, like literally 7 to 9 men just ran into my body. Like I literally put my arm like this one day because this guy is like rushing towards me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like he is getting closer and closer and closer and at speed. Like, what is he doing? Does he not fucking see me standing here? It's not like he's going towards me to go around me. He's just going towards me. I put my elbow out and he runs right into my elbow. And then he has the audacity to say, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly, dude. What the fuck? Why are you this close to my body? Why are you running into me? Like what? Like I literally I like don't even know what to fucking say about it. Like I literally have to basically be ready to like punch guys and push them off of me and be like, what the fuck? And like spill a drink. Like I literally have to almost like fight when I'm at these shows. And it's gotten to a point where I've stopped going. I'm not going to support the band. I'm not going to support any fucking group of dudes that make it okay for their other dudes in their community to treat women like this. It's bullshit. It's wrong. And this is patriarchy. And it's continuing. And we as women have to say no. And we as women have to like stop supporting the people that support patriarchy, and we have to stop supporting it, and we have to wake up. And you don't wake up until you wake up. Like I was perpetuating patriarchy until I woke up. So this is what this Erisina conjunction is. It's a new conjunction starting a new 2-year cycle of, and we're going to have that opening square in October. And so from now until October, we're like planning and envisioning and experimenting and attempting and adjusting. And then it's going to be time to do it. And it's all about, building our networks as women, building the female economy, supporting our sisters, building sisterhood, building our tribe, our friends, our groups, our people that have our back. And it's also about understanding that we have to be the light, that revenge is a phase. We need to do the inner work and healing, and also standing up in courage, standing up in our empowerment, like Erisina, she knows how fucking powerful she is. A lot of women, I can't remember the woman that wrote the book, Cassandra, really good book. I recommend it. But that woman, Elizabeth Eisler, she's the woman that wrote, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think of it. Elizabeth Lesser, I think is her name. And I'm pretty sure she wrote the book Cassandra, and then she wrote this other book that put this word that now everyone knows in the spiritual zeitgeist out there. I don't think it was Dark Night of the Soul. It was another word. But anyways, Elizabeth Lesser, she talked about how she started doing these big conventions about women's power, and women were turned off by the word power. And here's why: it's connotation. So this is another thing we need to talk about with Gemini, is Gemini is all about connotation. Gemini remembers everything. Gemini is the reticular activating system in the brain. It's literally a part of our brain that is like a Rolodex, like a filing cabinet that remembers everything that's ever been. And it will like, it has all this stored memory. Now, Uranus is everything that's ever been, past life, this life, and potentialities of everything that could be. Whereas Mercury, which is, at home in Gemini, is the reticular activating system in the brain. So it remembers everything. So to a Geminian person, to somebody with a heavy Gemini energy, and I'm talking about somebody with a stacked third house, somebody with a stellium in Gemini, somebody with a Gemini moon, but like really heavy other Gemini energies in their chart, or somebody with a Gemini South node heavy, maybe conjunct to Mercury, or somebody with a Gemini like rising sign. That would be heavy Gemini energy. It's not just like one little planet in Gemini. So if somebody like that, if you say something to them, they're just gonna like remember the whole million like steps and factual accounts and the whole journey of how they got from there to now. Like they're gonna remember everything about it, and it's gonna be very factual and step by step by step by step and very like empirical data, left brain kind of way. That's like Gemini has all of this stored information, but is it useful? Is all of it helpful? Is it relevant? And so we got to remember that with this energy. So this is the importance of this conjunction on Monday, the 3rd of June. And then we move to the actual full moon, new moon rather. And I always say like full and new for whatever reason, my brain just, I don't know, doesn't want to differentiate, but, and we'll have 5 planets in Gemini. And remember, Jupiter's in Gemini for a year, so Jupiter expands whatever it touches. So not only do we have so many planets in Gemini until Venus and the Sun start to move into Cancer and so forth, but we have Jupiter and Gemini expanding, magnifying, intensifying, increasing. Okay, so Jupiter does that to whatever it touches. And, you know, Jupiter has been trining Pluto. As Jupiter goes up in degrees in Gemini, it's coming off of that trine because Pluto's moving backwards, retrograde, and Jupiter's moving forwards. And so they're really in that separating trine now. And Mars is really in that applying square. Also, this new moon is applying to a square to Saturn. So important because we have mutable Pisces, Saturn and mutable Pisces, and we have 5 planets in Gemini. This is why it's world building time. This opening square, take action. A square is take action, growth, do, act, initiate. Mars, initiate, go out on the journey, a noble cause, fighting for the underdog. Saturn, our world, our reality, our karma, the structures of reality, but in mutable Pisces and closing out cycles, culminations, fruitions, and also deciding with our imagination what we're going to create for the long-term future. And remember, like, we're going to start to have all the planets hitting the north node of Pluto and starting to move to the other side of it. That's coming up. That's why this is a really amazing, magical world building, world creation time. So if you want to find out where any of this is going down in your natal birth chart, you can book an astrology reading at empoweredwomenrise.com. I have my standard fee and sliding scale fees. If you get on my list for Light Goddess Insider, you can find out when all the deals on astrology readings are going down. A word for this time, a card for this time is temperance. So I pulled some cards for this time, and the 7 of Swords and temperance came up. And it really is, with all of this energy and Jupiter expanding it here, a time to, you know, like I said earlier, like not be swept away by the energy. It is exciting. You can go in that direction for a little while, but then bring it back to the middle and temperance, you know. Don't overdo your vices. Don't overdo, you know, your food and your drink and your consumption and talking and ideas and strategizing instead of actually taking action. Mars is at home in Aries. Mars is helping us to implement action, opening square to Pluto, do, take action, grow, launch. It's time to go. And use all of the, like, Gemini is really gifted at taking all of these pieces and then putting it together into a beautiful puzzle that's complete. Gemini is really magical at that. So use this Mars and square and you know, the square to Saturn to like really build your world. And this is really going to look back 2 years from now to this time and see what you capitalized on, what you took advantage on, and what you wished you would have. It's not about missing out. I don't really believe in that fear of missing out thing and all of that. It's not helpful. Don't buy into any of the urgency energy. Instead, just take even small measured actions will produce big things over the long term because they implement a momentum. They implement a new default behavior, a new default belief in yourself. So if you feel overwhelmed by the bigness or the larger vision, or so many different things and directions you feel pulled in, just take small, concentrated, measured actions, bite-sized actions consistently every day, all throughout the day, and do really good self-care right now. And I'm telling you, that will build worlds for you that you will see coming to fruition over these 2-year periods, and you will have really capitalized on this time. This is a fun energy. Gemini is open and friendly and curious and happy, and it's all about questions. Scorpio asks the why question. Gemini asks all the questions, but questions are so amazing. People underestimate how powerful questions are. When you ask your brain a question, your brain goes about answering that question. And when you understand this, you really understand something very powerful, because you don't want to ask your brain a suck-ass question, because your brain will go about answering it. So you're like, oh, why do I suck? Well, your brain's going to go through the reticular activating system and find all the corroborating evidence to prove that you suck. The brain is just a soft computer. It doesn't know the difference between effective and ineffective. So you have to monitor and be the executive over your brain. You have to be the one in agency and control of your brain. That's why all of my clients learn mind management. They learn how to do thought work, to think deliberately, to take control over their thoughts, their beliefs, their mind. It doesn't mean you'll never have a bunch of unintentional thoughts. Of course you will. But it means that you will learn how to make the ones that are ineffective less acting upon your life, less influential in your life, and how to think deliberately and make those way more influential in your life. It means you become very, very skilled and powerful with the power of your mind, which is one of the 4 things that you want to become really highly skilled and powerful at to accomplish your goals. So understand that Gemini, like, ask your brain really good questions. How do I accomplish this goal? Ask your brain questions like, how do I become a millionaire? How do I become a millionaire in 2026? How do I make 10,000 a month in my business? How do I make $10,000 in 10 days? How do I, my coach just challenged me to make $10,000 in 10 days. So I'm going to take on this challenge. I'm doing this. So, what do you want to accomplish? How can you write 5 chapters of your book this month? How can you get on the New York Times bestseller list? How can you launch your 5-day masterclass? How can you sign 5 clients? How can you do 10 guesting spots? How can you build your audience on your social media by 10,000 people or 1,000 people? You don't have to reach for things that feel so big. Just reach for something that stretches you, but that feels doable. Okay. So powerful, powerful energy with this new moon. Like I've been saying, it's less of like a visioning, what's my vision, intention moon, and it's a launch, it's a do, it's a take action. It's like take tangible, concrete action moon. That is starting a new long-term cycle of your new default, who you are, how you think about yourself, how you want to be in the world. We got this 8 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, not 7 of Swords, about taking back your power. Stop thinking you're stuck. Stop thinking you are a victim and that you are imprisoned. And believe me, I understand how circumstances can really feel like there's no way out. And that's why I develop my methods. That's why I work with my clients. That's why I always coach and get coached, is because we have to support each other with all of our beautiful gifts. We also just need witness and validation and support. We need to talk things through. We need just people being there in your corner alone is worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Just somebody being there is worth so much money. I paid thousands of dollars just for people to believe in me and support me on my journey. Not even giving me a solution necessarily, but just to believe in me at a higher level than I'm currently believing it myself, so I can so they can cheer me on and like brainwash me into knowing I can do it, that I can do big things bigger than I'm doing at the moment, believing I'm capable of more than I'm believing at that current moment. I paid thousands of dollars for that. So just that alone is worth so much. So ask your brain great questions, believe in yourself. This is a new moon, this is a launch new moon, okay, y'all? This is a setting new default patterns, because it is the air, it is the mind, it is the neural pathways, it is the reticular activating system. We want to take all of the effective memories from the reticular activating system, all of the things that support and corroborate our capability, our belief in ourselves, you know, our unwavering belief in ourselves. I had this sign made for everyone watching this video now. I had it specially made for my clients and for you out there right now. I'm going to pull everyone cards. I'm going to do the oracle card reading and astrology for each sign. And make sure you watch your rising, because that's your natal birth chart. Make sure you watch your sun, because that's your solar chart. They both have really, I mean, obviously your natal birth chart, but your solar chart has really amazing information. And so you really get a understanding of what area of your life that this is affecting you right now and what's happening. And I bring through channeling and psychic messages, so stay tuned. Please throw down a like on this video. If there's anything that moved you, inspired you, please throw down a like. And also share this with a friend. Just like text this video to a friend right now that loves astrology, that you know would be uplifted by something that I talked about, that would be helped by this information. Please share this now. It helps the algorithms. And if you subscribe to Light Goddess YouTube, you will be notified when the new moon and full moon videos come out, and when any of the other amazing videos come out. Everything here is meant to help you move your life forward, help you make money as a woman, help you be empowered at the highest level. So there's no fluff. It is all to help all of us women rise, because then we help all of humanity to awaken, to evolve, and to move into a future that is not depraved and built on human depravity. So let's do this. Let's do this thing together. So thank you for throwing down your likes. Thank you for subscribing and sharing. I really appreciate you. I'm so glad you're here. You can book an astrology reading with me at empoweredwomenrise.com. I do two things. I work with clients in my 6-month coaching program. It's a root cause coaching program where I do results-based coaching. I use evolutionary astrology, and I help my clients with my dimensions method. It's my proprietary method of healing the root of the root of the root of the cause, the obstacles and blocks and the issues and the things that need healed, even traumas and so forth. And then I do individual astrology readings or packages. So those are the two ways that you can work with me, y'all. And if you would like to, I'm going to be changing my astrology mini course soon to be able to unlock 3 money secrets, but you can still go get my current astrology mini course that will give you an instant empowerment upgrade, and it will help you understand things that will help you navigate your life better, that like no one out there teaches. And if you download that, you will get my new mini course when it comes out, where I'm going to share my 3 astrological secrets for financial empowerment. So this is going down. The link is below to get my astrology mini course, instant empowerment upgrade, and my future 3 astrological money secrets coming up very soon. And other than that, I will see you in the sun sign. Sending you lots of love. I really appreciate you being here. You got this, y'all. You got this. All right, let's go. Let me just change this. There we go. Let's do this, Aries. New moon happening in your third house. I didn't talk about the square to Pluto, which is important. So I'll talk about it in the individual sun sign horoscopes. And so the squares are always about taking action, launching, doing, and it's challenging. And so it's challenging us to face, overcome our wounds, our comfort zones, the reasons why we've held ourselves back ever before in the past. And so this is all to do with your 11th house, friends. This is benefactors, this is goals and objectives. And so Pluto's sitting here in your 11th house of your goals and objectives, saying it's time to grow, it's time to overcome where you've stagnated. And it's time to really weed out the friendships that no longer lift you up and support you, like those female networks that I was talking about. So is happening in your third house of your mind, your mindset, how you think, perceive, and is that hyperbolic? Is it accurate? And here's the thing about all this mutable energy is we can really be believing and fighting for a case, and we think we're so right and not just right, that we think we're really litigating and bringing in all of these pieces of evidence for what we're arguing, but are we arguing for something that makes our life better? Or are we arguing for our limitations? Are we arguing about our situation not being very good, but yet we don't really have a way to exit our situation? You know, a lot of people are living in situations where it's not maybe their most ideal because they're saving money or, adjusting to the way things changed. And so it's like maybe you can't leave your circumstances, so you don't want to narrate it in a way that makes you feel miserable or makes you feel trapped or stuck. Even if you can find all of this evidence, you can equally find all of this evidence that you are set up to be your most productive, to be your most successful, to launch from this place that you're in right now. So you want to really be careful how you're narrating things. There's trines to the South Node and some of the old wounds around relationships, which is great. Mars square Pluto, Mars is in your first house at home in your sign. And so it's helping you take initiative on who you believe you are and standing in the truth of an expression of your identity, of an expression of who you are, expression of who you want to be in the world. Like, this is a time to implement new defaults, new autopilots in place, and to capitalize on this time. And so who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? Who do you want to be 2 years from now? That's where you want to practice showing up as that now, practice embodying those values, those behaviors, those habits, those expressions of self, your appearance, getting up and just even doing a little bit more than you used to. I mean, maybe you never did your hair and you're going to start doing your hair, or maybe you're going to care about how you look just a little bit more, so that you can feel on the outside like you do on the inside, or vice versa. This is a lot of planets stacked into this house. This is also hugely about making intellectual property. This is short trips, so maybe you have some trips planned. Make your intellectual property. Do this now. Like I said, and like watch part 1. It's all apropos of what's going on for you, Aries. So this is the time to implement the projects, all of the things that you've started or envisioned. It's time to push the button to do some action step on it. Make that happen. What cards want to come up for Aries? So you got the High Priestess. It's this energy of the feminine, of believing in yourself, of stepping into, it's the second card in the tarot. It's after we start on the Fool's journey. It is drawing down all the feminine energy and the belief in ourselves and that really inner core of unwavering power that's connected to the universe, connected to the cosmos and the earth, that column and channel that goes through our body from the earth to the celestial, that has every piece of information that we could ever want, to be directed from within out. To, yes, the fears and doubts come up, but to know your power and to be connected to that, to be connected from within, to be in stillness at times where it's needed, to be in activity and productivity at times when it's needed, to have that fluidity of connection to your truth, your power, your wisdom, your higher knowledge, and to embody confidence. And embodying confidence doesn't mean you always feel confident, but it's I just had it. It's stepping up to the plate in that moment. You don't have to worry about all the rest of it, the future, and all, just this moment, you got to step up to the plate and hit the ball. So, um, what else wants to come up for Aries? All right, cards are not popping up for you, Aries. Okay, it's the wheel. So you're getting major arcana cards, and the wheel is about everything in life at your disposal, that you have everything you need, that you're ready to launch, that you're ready to take action, you're ready to initiate, which is really apropos of your astrology reading. Um, and you have to be a co-creator in this, a partner with the divine, give the divine places to land. But this is saying that you have everything inside of you that you need, and you have all of the help of the universe partnering with you, speaking to you in nearly every moment, if you have the ears to listen, if you have the eyes to see the messages. I mean, really, truly putting a lot of effort into reaching you when maybe you're too busy in the mind, and really need to get down into the body. This is wanting you to draw down into your body, connect with your practices, to connect and ground, to land, and to get into stillness so you can truly hear the messages that are there for you. Let's pull you one more card, Aries. This is so much fun. And you got the Empress. So it's really interesting that the cards that you got, it's all of this feminine energy. And it's all of this belief in your magic and your power as a woman, but it's also this belief in your ability to create, that you are partnered with the divine, that you have everything available to you. Also, it's really of taking care of yourself, and knowing when it's the moments of incubation that then birth and emerge. And in incubation, it doesn't mean you're doing nothing. It may just be the quiet in your office working away time at the project before the book is launched, or before the project is announced, or before everyone's notified on your list, etc. This is also just this, it's almost where like belief in yourself is almost not even a question, because it's just such a it's like just such a natural walking through life, as we all are these unique threads in the tapestry of the whole, and we all deserve to be here and offer magic, and to have what we need, and to be able to creatively self-actualize. Let me pull you one more card from the Sacred Creators deck. Cozy up with risk. So this is wanting you to get out of your comfort zones. This is wanting you to not buffer with things like self-care, cleaning the house, or things that seem good. Get out of your comfort zones. Stop acting like you're doing great things when you're really just buffering. You're really just stalling out. Like, you can't imagine tiny little small efforts, how they add up to big things, how they set a momentum in place, how they help you believe in your own self. Don't discount that. All right, Aries, sending you lots of love. If you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. And don't forget to go down to the link below and grab my instant empowerment upgrade and my astrology mini course. All right, Taurus. So this is happening in your second house, Taurus, with that sesqui square from this new moon to Pluto in your 10th house, soul mission, your business, taking up space in this world, entering your authority into the greater whole, taking up space, being the expert, standing in your authority, being in the public sphere, taking up real estate in this world, putting your expertise in this world, believing in yourself at that highest level, speaking on stages, whatever it is. And the second house is money. It is valuing yourself at the highest level. It is your Maslow's hierarchy of needs and your survival. And are you building and growing that thing, sesqui square, to the business that is for the bigger long-term vision that's going to push you outside your comfort zones, push you beyond where you're thinking about of the day-to-day life, the day-to-day things, how you survive, get out of survival and get into long-term thriving, long-term creation, building, growing for the 2-year cycle coming. Okay, so this is huge. You got to get out of that day-to-day survival, that moment-to-moment pleasure, feeling good, and think about how you can set yourself up to be comfortable long-term. Not comfortable in comfort zones, but comfortable as in like having the lifestyle and the life that you love and deserve and that nurtures you and that you want to create for yourself. With these square to Saturn, this new moon's going to happen and it's got an applying square to Saturn, and then it's going to come into those exact squares. So after the new moon, and so realize that it's all mutable energy and world creation. What do you want to create? Make sure you reclaim the power over your own imagination. I wouldn't be putting any podcasts, movies, TV, other people's opinions into your sphere right now that don't lift you up, inspire you, encourage you, get you moving, get you in action, make you believe in yourself at an even higher level than you already do. I would only be moving towards that which is accelerating you forward, progressing you forward, helping you believe in yourself, helping you implement and do and create and love and be in that higher energy right now. This is just this time where it's time to reclaim your imagination, reclaim power over your own mind. This Taurus, it could be like so, like this is a time to evolve out of survival. Uranus in your first house is changing, is like individuating from all of these identities that keep you smaller. That's what Uranus has been doing in your first house since 2018 to 2026, going through that first house, individuating you from all the identities that kept you small, from maybe not even knowing any of your identities at all, and maybe you've been going through a journey of claiming identities and experimenting with them, Uranus, Aquarius energy, and then like individuating from that and realizing that's not going to let you expand ultimately into the future. So this has been a hugely big time of liberation of your personality, your ego, so that vehicle for your soul to act out its evolutionary goals in this life. This has been a liberation of like this I am presence of you in this lifetime, your personality, like your character, who you are in this life, who that character is. This is the movie of your life for this particular lifetime. Your ego personality is the character that you're playing. You get to choose it and you get to change it and evolve it and grow it. Do you like who it is? Do you like who you're being? Do you like how you show up? Do you like your appearance and how you look? This is time to liberate yourself at the highest levels and to look at your journey since 2018, because you've been on a journey since 2018, like pretty big, huge one, because this is all your personality. It's also how you deal with threat here. So look at Mars square Mars in your 12th house. So all of the wounds and the past life patterns squaring Pluto in your business house, your soul mission house, your purpose house. So, you know, this is the opening square to this long time since February. A lot has been figured out. If you're on the journey, a lot has been healed. A lot has come to awareness and come to into awakening. And it's now that implementation, that action, that growth edge time. Okay. This is good stuff. This is really good stuff. And that trine to the south node in your sixth house, day-to-day life, lifestyle healing, this is all things that are, this is a resolution time. There's so much healing, so much resolution, so much restoration here available for you. And use the Gemini of like putting the pieces together into a cohesive whole, this integration. This new moon, both the sun and the moon have hit that exact opposition to the great attractor, which is all about integrating all of these vast quantities of data before it goes into that new moon, which is really helpful with this trine to the south node of restoration of your empowerment, your power, your confidence, your belief in yourself, your ability to, yes, have healing to do or journeys to traverse and yet be at just this higher echelon of confidence, belief, and ability to take action. Okay, Taurus, this is really big for you. Let's pull you some cards. Throw down a like in this video. I really appreciate it. Shoot this off to a friend, share it with someone. Okay, you got Two of Swords. Swords is all about air energy. It's about the mind and getting out of your head. She's blinded. This is like pulling her in different directions. She's like pulling out her hair. She's calm and poised, but it's just a matter of not thinking that you have the answer, not thinking that you know which way to go, being confused. But you have to get out of your head to find the path, to find the clarity. What else wants to come forward? Three of Swords. She's heartbroken. She feels pulled in so many directions. There's just a lot of old pains that are being buried, that are being ripped out, that are being unlocked. And this may be really denoting like going on a journey of deep healing. And so bringing forward a lot of new pain, but about old wounds, old things that happened, but it's new pain because you're newly dealing with it. But again, everything that arises is arising to be healed, to be restored, to be resolved. So it's for a really good reason. It's for your ultimate success and happiness and growth. But there is a challenge in this time. How you narrate the story, how you narrate the wound is half of the injury. So just be aware of that piece of this. And you got the Chariot, which is like really creative self-actualization, believing in yourself at the highest levels, like taking all of the challenges and all of your gifts and bringing them together into this infinite, like the mad scientist of your beautiful medicine for the world, believing in yourself, implementing, taking your will, like creating it, going forward into the destiny. And so this is definitely talking about managing your mind, being really in powerful control of your mind. Yes, there's heartbreak and things coming up, but it's a journey that is necessary and required. And to take the action, creatively self-actualize, believe in yourself. And that also, there's so much optimism and passion and verve, like you have the energy to do what you need to do. Let's pull you a card from the Sacred Creators deck. Okay, so this card has come up multiple times. I've shuffled the deck. So cozy up with risk. Get out of your comfort zones. There's a message here to be measured. It's better to take a lot of small, concentrated, measured actions and implementations rather than being scattered to the wind with these big things that you're like end up just visioning and writing down a bunch of plans and things without actually implementing anything. You want to, this is a time of deep, deep implementation and taking action. And even if they're just small, concentrated actions will add up to a lot. This is a time where the impact of what you do is going to ripple out and unfold for several years. It's really big. Let's pull you another card, Taurus. Just like feel some interesting energy, something. Okay, creator alchemy. So this has come up. You got the Chariot, you got creator alchemy. There's something here about this learned helplessness, this victimhood, this fear, this like just like not believing you really can, like not believing that you really get to have it, that you really are amazing. There's some just self-doubt is kind of, yeah, self-doubt, but it's something other than that. It's like something where it's just almost esoteric, kind of like a bunch of opinions that got stuck in your sphere, your energy. I'm not a Reiki worker off the block. I don't really advertise this yet, but like I do individual and package Reiki sessions to help heal weird things like this. I just use Reiki as a vehicle. I actually am like a healer in the psychic, energetic, invisible realms, but I use that as my vehicle. So you can get in touch with me personally through my socials if you want to book a session, because it's incredibly powerful. But there's something esoteric here. There's something that's just energetic that's not even true, but you're letting it stop you. Believe in yourself. Take back your power of like believing that you create your world, believing in yourself, believing you can do it, like that positive belief, that enthusiasm, that joy, that passion, that love, that verb, like take all the magic from the world and gather it up and use that as your magic wand. You got this. You really got this. Like truly, you're supported. You're incredibly supported, and you have the messages and the direction to pivot as needed. And that's just a natural part of it. You're doing this. All right, Taurus. All right, Gemini. So first house, new moon for you. This is all about your personality, your identity, who you see yourself as, how you've been dealing with threat in the past. Gemini rising can deal with threat by wanting to talk about it with somebody and process it out. Maybe, just go do something, whether it's driving or walking or exercising or like doing something or being with people and like talking. If this is your sun, like how do you deal with threat? It really has a lot to do with your rising sign. So you want to look at your natal birth chart if this is your sun, if you're Gemini sun. But this is you launching a new way based on everything that you've done, everything that you've healed, everything that you've come to understand and awaken from. How can you be in the world a way that's way more effective for you and what you want to create in this world and what goals you're working to accomplish at the moment? And this is also about your identity. I mean, this is 5 planets stacked in your first house with Jupiter expanding, magnifying, increasing. There's either an identity that you're playing around with, you're experimenting, or you're getting rid of and shedding old identities that just are no longer you, or you're really invoking that new identity. Maybe it's a name, literally a name or a moniker. Maybe it's your business and your branding. Maybe you've rebranded. Maybe it's just who you see yourself and feel like you are deep inside of yourself. This is also just really about knowing your worth, knowing your value, standing in your autonomy, like being somebody in this world, deciding to be this unique thread in the tapestry of the whole, like be a thread that stands out. This is a sesqui square to Pluto in your 9th house of the expertise, being an expert, of bringing your wisdom, of long distance travel, of knowledge and wisdom and alignment to universal truth. And so that realignment of your unique autonomy and identity and who you are, who you feel like you are inside and out, and realign to the higher truth, the higher purpose for life, for your life personally, believing yourself as an expert that has something to give this world. And that Sesqua square of like pushing you to take action, stop being scared, get over yourself, or to step up to the next level that you weren't before, or there's some sort of argument or frustration or difficulty with a partner or somebody in your business, or you got to get rid of and weed some people out. My guides are saying, yeah, like there's like some sort of frustration with somebody you're working with and some people that you need to get out of your life. Be bold, be bold, answer the call. Like this is the time to answer it. That square to Saturn in your 10th house, it's time to reclaim your imagination and see yourself into the vision of your business and your future and your life for the next 2 years. Reclaim your imagination, step into it. Small, concentrated actions that will be the new pattern, the new default going forward. The square is action. Take action, believe in yourself. This Mars square Pluto in your 11th, this is your goals and dreams related to you either traveling or standing on stages or speaking your expertise. There's some sort of growth here. There's some sort of reclamation of power. It's time to push the button. It's time to believe. It's time to own it. Stop squirreling around and dinking around with the South Node in your 5th house of creative self-actualization, of children, of romance. There is this energy of restoration of your playful, enthusiastic self that can stand on stages, stand in your confidence, believe in yourself. Maybe a restoration of your relationships with your children or how you want to be as a parent. And maybe this is a romance blooming or a romance that you are restoring yourself from the wounds of a relationship that it wasn't the dream that you had envisioned or that you thought it would be. This is really big stuff. It's not small. There is some challenges, but there is so much here, this positive, amazing energy to capitalize on. Let's pull you some cards, Gemini. Okay, this card wanted to come up for you. And you got the World in reverse. The World is when you have this culmination and fruition where you have everything in your hands, everything at your fingertips, but it's in this protection message of where you're not believing in yourself, you're in the shadowlands, and there's this doubt that's like permeating and kind of messing with your ability to take progressive, measured, concentrated steps that believe in you and that move you forward. And so there's just like you may be moving forward, but not as effectively as you could, and you're not believing in yourself as the highest levels. There's some empowerment that you're leaving on the table. Interesting. So I was pulling this one card, but the other card came out. You got the 10 of Swords. There's this new horizon for all of this work that you've done, all this work that you've done in your mindset, reclaiming agency and power over your own mind. And there's this walking forward, there's this culmination, there's this fruition. There's this like ultimate way of viewing yourself, of viewing life and believing in yourself. And having that support with the universe, like being in that co-creation, being in that flow, hearing the messages, taking action, and letting your belief in yourself, when it's like a belief that you deserve good, that you believe that you deserve money, that you deserve love, being rock solid. And yet fluidity of ideas and enthusiasms and passions that are effective. And you get the Queen of Pentacles. She's just like so connected to the earth, so connected to nature, in the ability to create, in her value and sense of herself, and listening inward, listening to the interconnectedness of all of life and what the messages are, like that symbiosis from the world to her, to the energy she puts out, to what comes back and what step to take next. She's just in her deep power, able to create whatever she wants. She knows of her ability, she knows of her power. There's no questions. She has evidence of so much that she's accomplished, and she doesn't discount her accomplishments. She racks them up. She writes them down. She puts them on the wall. She has a list of her victories, small and big, and she starts making them big in her mind. Like, what are your victories? Changing a habit, sticking to a routine, making a decision that you followed through on to completion, doing something difficult, healing something, resolving something, nurturing, going on a big trip, accomplishing something, small or big. Like, she knows what she has the ability to create, and she creates it, and she values herself at the highest level. So there's something here about like the bigger goal you're having reservations or nervousness about, or not quite believing that you can make the bigger goal. Like, say you make 100K a year, you're not quite believing you can make 1 million a year. And so step to the middle to 300,000. You do have your mindset on lock. You are opening up. You have done a lot of work, and you do value yourself at the highest levels, and are always deepening that and working towards that. And you're creating, and you're building, and you're doing. But there's something where there's just not, like, it's time to step to the higher belief and work towards it, and entertain that at the same time that you are honoring all that you already are, and writing down your victories and making them big in your mind. Like, women discount all the millions of amazing things they do. One step ahead is all you need. This energy can make us see so many details and the bigger vision all at once, and get overwhelmed by it. One step, one little concentrated action after another, after another, after another, will pay off dividends. Sending you so much love, Gemini. If you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. Make sure to like this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Cancer, this 12th house. 12th house can always be challenging, especially with the new moon. There can always be like a lot of breakdown and emotional stuff, and the mind kind of maybe going a little crazy and bringing up every negative story about yourself, about your life, going into deep victimhood, going into disempowerment, everything looking like it's horrible, it's all going wrong, just in time for a rebirth and a popping out to clarity. So don't believe in any of that going down. It could be tough and rocky time, but just know it's a time that will pass, and it's for a benefit. It's to clear out the difficulty, so that you can move towards the new life, so that there can be a new pathway that has been cleared. This is past life healing, past life patterns, and things coming up, but anything that's arising is meant to be dealt with. So it may be time for coaching, it may be time to have support, but also this is a rebirth into something new. And this is what's hidden. This is what's unknown. This is what's in your deep psyche. And so those things are brought up now to no longer be hidden, for resolution, restoration, completion. Sesqui square to Pluto in your eighth, the deep subconscious material, also this kind of deeper connection to your sexuality, and therefore your sacral chakra, and creativity and partnering and intimacy with other people, and whether you feel like you have those deeper intimate bonds with people, or you're feeling like relationships are superficial and not fulfilling, or that you don't have the intimacy with people that you'd like, or that you feel overly sensitive and don't feel like you open up and go out there in the world to meet those people and to bring them into your life, and to open yourself to the availability. You have the square to Saturn in your ninth house, travel, and it's long distance travel, so across states or countries. And it's also travel in our mind, clearing out the ignorances. But this is mutable energy. This is structures and reality and karma. And so this is like, where do you stand in your expertise and your belief in your methods, your teachings, the medicine that's unique, the things that you bring to this world. Where are you at with that? Are you building it? Are you in the next phase? Are you just not believing in yourself at the highest level? Or are you kind of like in this like complete visioning stage? Pluto square Mars in your 10th house of career, your authorship in the world, taking up real estate in this world, your soul mission. You know, Mars is initiating, taking action. It's strong here with the square to Pluto in your eighth, like asking you to take action, believe in yourself, clean up the past that's holding you back, be willing to heal, be willing to put yourself out there, to meet people, and deal with the sensitivities. There's answers for that. I help my clients with that all the time. This trying to the South Node and your fourth house, that sense of security and inner security, it's a Cancer theme. You know, is it based on the house and the money and your title and your degree and relationships, or are you getting your sense of security and safety from within yourself? It's a big one. And it's what all humans are tasked with. It's where we're moving as humanity, but it's also what certain individuals have particularly as their lessons that they're working on in this lifetime. And so the South Node is sensitive here, but there's trines to this new moon to release, to let go, salt baths, releasing ceremonies, cry, wail, scream, do somatic exercises, do ritual, go out to a creek, get in nature, move your body, do the things that you need to do, and teach my clients a lot of those things. Let's pull you some cards, Cancer. Please throw down a like on this video. If you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. You got the Six of Pentacles. So this is a culmination. It is a beginning. It's a knowing that you are like creating worlds. You're creating systems and processes and structures in place. And it's after you've had some challenges and some tumult. And it's time to bring back your optimism. It's time to bring back the things that lift you up and get you enthusiastic, that get you believing in yourself. You know, I went through a big healing where I lost belief in myself and positive belief and positive expectation about anything in the world. It's not like I didn't know it somewhere way far out there, but it was lost to me and I was lost to it. And it was like it was on the horizon and I wasn't connected to it. It's like I knew it was there, but it was just I was lost to it for a while. And I got that back, and it was a journey to do that. And a lot of it was like just keep putting good stuff in, inundating myself with uplifting things that believed in me, things that told me the impossible was possible, examples of women doing it, examples of women that have been in my types of situation have done it because I've been in really challenging situations. And so not like people who were already rich that became rich doing their purpose, but like people who were in poverty that helped other people and had them like made good money doing their purpose. I put all these types of stories into my sphere, into my world, and I just finally dug out of that and connected back into my positive belief and my ability to create worlds that I always naturally had. And so you got the Emperor that is confident, that is this energy of this solidity, of this firmness, of the steadiness, that is this energy of making a move, going in a direction, going out on the adventure, understanding all that comes with that, but with clarity of purpose, with almost kind of like the ignorance that can actually shield us from collecting bad things happening to us because we just don't allow ourselves to see it as a possibility. It's that kind of like good ignorance where there's like good ignorance and bad ignorance. And just this, it's this belief in self. I keep kind of saying that, feeling like I'm just saying the same thing, but it's what really is the energy I'm working to put into words here. And you got the sun. It is the warmth, the enthusiasm, the creation, the ability to like positive belief, make it real because you see it in your mind, you activate that energy in your body, you believe it, you take action steps, and you partner with the divine, and you understand your value as a person. You understand the magic within you, and you understand the co-creation of you and the divine together and how it all comes together. You know, it's major arcana, it's at the end. It's the it's like where there's a culmination of all of the hard work that you've done, but doing all the hard work to believe in yourself. It's kind of what I just was sharing with you. Like at the end of this big journey I went through, I had to go through the dark period of not knowing if I'd ever get my positive belief back, if I'd ever have that drive and that fervor again that was just natural to me, and feeling like things had been stolen. And it was there was a lot of dark moments, and there was a lot of times when I could talk to a friend all day long, but what could they possibly say or do? I mean, lead your metamorphosis. This is wanting you to get off your duff. I'm not saying you're on your duff. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but I'm just saying like how we can kind of like get in our little habits of comforts and doing the same old fucking cycles. I mean, maybe you go for a walk and like give yourself a little treat, and it's not like you're doing something that would normally be good for yourself, but you're just doing the same old thing over and over and over again. You're not doing anything that's getting you out of those old ruts. Like a rut is just a grave with the ends removed. You want to like lead your metamorphosis and get into new places, new spaces, new stimulation. And Gemini energy is amazing for bringing in new information, stimulation, ideas. But this is, you know, 12th house for you. It's not the easiest, but you have an amazing reading. I mean, this is talking about implementing, building, growing for the future, and being an alchemist, being in powerful charge of it, and being so supported by the universe. But you got to listen, though. It is the 6 of Pentacles, and this is the Emperor of having the confidence, having this kind of like ignorant belief and confidence, and going out on the journey. The kind of ignorance that just isn't that isn't silly, or isn't irresponsible, but rather refusing to entertain what could be negatively impacting you, if that makes sense. So all right, Cancer, you got this. I'm sending you lots of love, and throw down a like in this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you subscribe for more. All right, let's go. Leo, 11th house. This is the house of benefactors. This is the house of goals, bringing your gifts to the world, friendships, audience building, all those things. So this is a launch pad here, an expansion of all of these ideas and connections and creativity, all of this energy that's ripe for connecting, having common ground, really relating to someone else. I mean, that is one of the biggest things that almost nobody knows how to do, is relationship build. And that's actually what I was wanting to say about Libra that I totally forgot about South Node. I wanted to bring in something that kept coming through, because I've kind of talked about it to death at this point of the nodes being in this axis, but people like really need to learn how to relationship build. And we have been in relationships our whole lives, but do we actually know how to build good relationships? I think this is what we're hugely learning in society and culture, and in this new way of life of bringing the light back to the planet. And so, you know, it's really finding something that you can connect to someone else about, finding the ability to do that. And you have the trines to the South Node in your 3rd house. The old wounds, the old ways of perceiving and thinking can come to a close, can be resolved. New empowerment can step forward. You have the sesqui square to Pluto in the 7th of relationships. Huge relationship moon for you. building relationships, understanding the way in which to actually relate to people, to where it's not just trying to gain something, get the client or sign the thing or have your needs met, but it's really truly this building a relationship for the long term from this genuine, authentic place, coming from a different way, and not being scared, not being hidden and hiding your heart, hiding your vulnerabilities, because that's the very thing that helps people feel like you're real, and meeting them on a real plane with Mars here in your ninth house of standing in your expertise, long distance travel, eliminating ignorances, really understanding this alignment to natural law, and the square to Pluto, where it's time to step into your expertise. It's time to build relationships from this place of owning your power, owning your expertise, owning your empowerment, and where you believe in yourself and you bring your own unique character, and let people meet you there or not. And the people that can't, they fall away, but never like shrinking to help someone to feel okay or to feel better, and to getting out of your own shrink fest, and instead like standing in your empowerment, being fully you. The squares to Saturn in your eighth house, like all the childhood wounds, all of the deep parts of yourself where you're wanting to connect intimately with others, that sacral chakra, and where you're wanting to have like the deeper connections with people, or where you're too enmeshed with people and you're not your unique own authentic personality, and you're wanting people to kind of come to you and draw you out or make you feel better. And it's like, again, all about, this moon is all about relating, relationships, building the audience, the friendships, the things for your business, the long-term relationships and relationship building, and where you've grown, but looking to the future, looking to the next two-year cycle, and taking the actions today that are going to build the relationships for the long term. Because relationships, their value continues to roll out. You got the Nine of Pentacles. It's like finishing the cycle, working towards this full bloom, understanding the understanding the ripple into the world, the unfolding over the long term, and all of the work that you've done up to now. There is a fruition, there is a culmination, there is a time to celebrate and really honor all of your achievements, all of your victories, like list them out, be aware of them, and that energy and belief in yourself can then move towards the future and finish the journey and complete what else wants to come forward. You got the Empress, which is this belief in yourself, this feminine energy, and this energy of this growth, partnering with the divine, and of I can't think of the word, like this incubation. There's this incubation of all of this unfolding that's going to happen in the future. And so there's a huge journey that's taken place, and it's a time to be aware of the victories, celebration, to put yourself on, like to be proud of yourself, the healthy pride. And then you have the Hanged Man, about get out of your head. You've got to get out of your head. You've got to get out of your own way. You've got to stop putting yourself into the victim place or that learned helplessness role, and get out of the old stories and the narratives about your life. Like half the wound is how you narrate the story. And so there's this huge thing about the Hanged Man, also about stop listening to other people that don't understand your values, that don't value you, or that don't understand like your business or the way things should look in your business, or your ideal client. Like stop listening to business coaches that tell you that you don't have a good ICA when your ICA is perfect and you've done all that work and it's time to move on to other parts of your business, or people that don't understand you, your branding, what you're doing, and are trying to give you advice. Like, you got to know who to listen to and who not to listen to. And it can trip you up and stall you out and stop you for years if you're listening to advice that's not helpful and you're actually believing it. You got the now. So it's like, get out of your head, get into your body, listen to your own sacred wisdom, your own knowing yes, move forward. This is definitely about not listening to the wrong people and not listening to your mind and all of the thoughts that are unhelpful and that are not that are like narrating things in a disempowering way, that are not moving you in a direction with enthusiasm and belief in yourself. You have everything at your disposal to create exactly what you want to create. And you're incubating something huge for the future. There's something powerful, some powerful medicine that you're bringing. So believe in yourself. You got this. Get out of your head, get into meditation, get into stillness, ground. This energy is buzzy mental energy. Sending you lots of love, Leo. You got this. Throw down a like in this video. See you on the next one. Virgo, let's go. 10th house, new moon for you. Gemini. Get the set of squares to Pluto in your 6th house of lifestyle. So you got your career and your lifestyle. Are they matched up? Lifestyle for you is huge. Healing for you is huge. It's a Virgo thing. But if this is your sun is what you're becoming. It's not very much of who you are yet. But if it's your rising, you've got a lot of that Virgo in you and in your personality. And there's also the shadow there. And so lifestyle, day-to-day life, organization, healing your body, all of that is huge because that's the foundation of whether you can launch into the world. It's the foundation of being able to be of service, which is what Virgo is actually really about. It's the humility to be of service to the greater humanity and bring your gifts. And so it's this energy of understanding that there's something that you're ready to take action upon now. It's time to take action. It's time to move forward. This is all about your business. It's time to stand in your truth. It's time to believe in yourself at the highest levels. It's time to push the launch button. For you, more than any other sign, this is truly more of an emergent new moon. This is more of like you're launching, like the book is complete and now it's all in the bookstores and you're going on a book tour. This is like when you're actually out on stages. This is when you're being seen in the world, you're doing the bigger activity. This is really more of the emergence time of the full bloom, whereas for others it's really like doing the things that's going to create that in 6 months to a year. So there's something about something you got to give up, some comfort zone you got to get out of in your day-to-day life though. And that's feeling hard. You feel challenged. You're maybe holding yourself back. Don't do that. Capitalize on this energy. Don't hold yourself back right now because there's some survival fear that could come up, but you've got to trying to work all that out. The square to Saturn in your 7th is don't let relationships hold you back right now. Only be in the relationships that lift you up, encourage you, inspire you, push you forward, help you execute, help you improve, expand. This is an expansion energy. This is a growth energy. But there could be, I feel like there's something holding you back. There's some like relationship or somebody you're listening to that you shouldn't be. There's just there's just like a reservation that you have. And you could easily just like believe in it and not take action and watch TV and eat and just kind of like fall into old patterns and fall back into old defaults. Like, do not do that with this energy. You gotta get a coach or just decide and act or do something big, like maybe you move or get a haircut or do something big where it kind of like is this benchmark, but now things change. But there's this, I get this sense that there's this easy part of you that could just fall back into the old routines and forget even why it's so important that you move forward and bring your gifts to the world, bring your business to the world, start the project, launch the thing, get out in front of people, whatever it is. You have the square to Pluto from Mars and your eighth, sexuality, money, intimacy with other people, your sacral chakra, creating, this is maybe understanding some of the deeper parts of your own psychology and things that are triggering you, things that are, part of the shadow work that you're meant to be doing that needs to be healed and resolved. It doesn't have to be resolved completely for you to move forward, but it's important for you to not let it blindside you or hold you back because you're not willing to face it, you're not willing to feel emotions, you're not willing to look at those tough things. Or it could be like sexual abuse that's popping up right now, so that's coming forward. So there's some big things going on, there's some healing, but it's just really important for you not to fall back into old defaults. Okay, let's pull some cards for you, and if you want to throw down a like on this video, you can book an astrology reading at empoweredwomenrise.com. So death and rebirth came up for you. This, I love death and rebirth, and this is, the energies of the year, of next year. It's hugely what's going on. And it's the thing about death and rebirth is that the death is hard. It is all of these difficulties, all of this doubt, all of this, fear, feeling like you failed or missed the mark before, or it's confusion before finally there's this clarity. Finally, there's the breakthrough. Finally, there is the path forward. And also, though, you have to walk the path forward. It doesn't just magically unfold. It shows itself for you, but you then have to take the steps forward. So that's, the thing about life, the thing about these things. Ace of Pentacles, this is beautiful, but it's in a protection message saying that like you're not getting started, you're not planting the seed, you're not believing in yourself. What I'm downloading is just like there's some sort of doubt that got seeded that somehow you let grow, and enough habit and default has, has been done over and over and over to where there's that pattern in place. And so it's almost like you got to get the shovel and dig up that pattern. Like if the pattern is a train on train tracks going 60 miles an hour, you got to slow it down to 0, get the train off the train tracks, pull the train tracks out, dig the whole path out, and like, build a garden. Like you got to do something different, do something drastic to get out of this old pattern. You got the 3 of Cups, this is about bringing in others, believing, connecting to spirit, connecting to your heart, connecting to magic again, the greater whole, your guides, getting some psychic help, getting some Reiki, some energy medicine. I work with people to reconnect people. I use it as a vehicle to reconnect and to clear out all of the energetic psychic realms that's holding you back in these weird intangible ways, and to heal past life things that are holding you down. And this time to feel your emotions. Feel your emotions. I have my 3-step emotions process. I take all my clients through, all my clients learn it and leave with millions of dollars worth of magic that they have for the rest of their life. I teach them my method and my dimensions method. I teach them my 3-step emotions process to deal with any emotion, all of your emotions, to manage your emotions at the highest level, to like get the messages and the empowerment that is inside of your emotions. Your emotions are the key to everything you want to create. So this card is so beautiful and powerful, but it is something you have to act upon. So just know that the challenges are meant to, there's something that's meant, there's an old way that's meant to dissolve. There's a new way that's meant to birth. But there's some old bad seeds that got planted. So you have to like dig up that old stuff and kind of like switch out of these old habits and call upon your sisters, call upon the divine, get some help, get some support, do some things to support you on this journey. Like don't be without that. And connect to emotions, feel emotions, become emotionally masterful, learn those skills. Let's pull you one more card, Virgo. You got fall in love with your own story. So there's something about your story that maybe you're ashamed of, or maybe, I went through a period of time where I was like, wasn't very proud of myself. And it was just weird. Like I'd done a lot of work on that, but just all of a sudden I kind of understood that that was something that was going on internally. And I was like, oh, wow. So I did some belief work and reprogrammed my subconscious to be proud of myself. And it's not like I hadn't done it before, but we like excavate a bunch of junk sometimes that dislodges new pockets that are newly revealed to us that were never filled in with the good. And so I had to go in and fill in healthy pride, and I had to do a little work there, and it wasn't difficult, but I had to be aware of what to do, and I had to do that. And it's one of my methods and my it's one of my processes and techniques in my dimensions method that all my clients learn, is how to reprogram your subconscious so that you can create your truth as just who you are. Just like, I'm just proud of myself. Like I believe in myself. I love myself. I like know the things that I do that are amazing, and not in a grandiose way or an arrogant way, of a way that allows me to move and create big things and do the things I need to do. And so it's like falling in love with your story and understanding that like the things you've been through are part of your PhD for the medicine you're meant to bring the world, and so like maybe writing down and getting very clear on what you're not proud of or what you're ashamed of or the challenges of difficulty, and then you can know how to then move forward. And maybe that needs unpacked with a coach. Maybe you need some methods to reprogram things. Sending you lots of loving good. Empoweredwomanrise.com for astrology readings and coaching and everything. Love to see you here next time, Virgo. All right, let's do this, Libra. Happening in your ninth house, being the expert, believing in yourself, long distance journeys and travel, possibly long distance travel within your mind, within what you think is possible, your vision for the future, your vision for your life. This is a launching though. So what are you launching? A new attitude about life, your business, what you're creating, seeing the vision in full form, and taking small concentrated actions on that with this square to Saturn in your day-to-day life schedule healing. And so this is very much like taking action on what's going to be a new habits, new default patterns, things that take care of yourself, things that are helping you always to heal or mend anything that you're currently working on. The sesqui square to Pluto in your fifth house of creative self-actualization, your children. So maybe your children got a lot of things going on right now and you got to deal with that, and it's kind of interrupting your process or taking some time from what you really want to do. Or maybe it's like taking you off track. And so you're forgetting to stay on track, stay committed, stay focused to fruition. You do have the South Node in your first. So something about identity can be resolved, can be altered and shifted to have this higher belief and outlook of who you are, believing in yourself, putting that authority of you and what you're here to bring to the world out there. You have this Mars square Pluto, it's in the seventh of relationships. So there's some new invocation that's happening in relationships, in relationship to your creativity, what you're creating in the world, the gifts you're meant to bring to the world, um, accomplishing your goals. There's this need to take action, this need to believe, this need to be autonomous in your relationships, powerful in your relationships, strong, assertive, honoring of yourself, believing in yourself within, that love and possibly like harmony seeking at all costs that you may do, you really need to stop doing, and not give over your autonomy and your assertiveness for that, realizing that harmony isn't the goal and rather having everybody stand on their own 2 feet is really the goal. And that might be what's going on with children right now. Like maybe it's getting your children to stand on their own 2 feet. Maybe it's that difficulty of letting go and seeing them, seeing that you're no longer needed. And what do you do with yourself now? And do you feel secure? What's your identity? Libra South Node in the first, like what's your identity if you're not the parent that's doing all the things anymore, if they don't need you as much? Like where is your identity? Who is your authority? This is a chance to launch new defaults. I'm telling everybody this: launch new defaults, launch who you want to be in 2 years. Like push the button, take the action, believe new things, think new thoughts, do new patterns, new habits, because in 2 years, this is what you're going to get. So this is the fruition. We're doing it now. This is an amazing time to capitalize on. 7 of Cups, very much about feeling the emotions, being overwhelmed. Are you allowing yourself to feel them? Are you feeling confused? There's some culmination here of a lot of things came about, and maybe it's not clear yet, but there's a lot of emotions that aren't quite processed, not allowing yourself to be fully connected, fully in your body, fully having all the feels, letting it all be okay. And so many of them. You got the World in reverse, where it's like, the world is having everything culminate, all of the fruition, everything come together, but in reverse, where like you're not believing yourself, you can't move forward, stalled out action because you're not releasing emotions, and you have emotions that are stuck, you don't know how to process them, or you're just not doing the techniques to process them and let them go. And maybe you're not realizing that you need to, you're just not in that recognition and noticing. My clients learn how to like notice and recognize their emotions, because there's a full spectrum of human emotions. There's lots of them. Do you notice disappointment? Do you like frustration? Might be easy because you find yourself complaining, but are you noticing that you're in the frustration, or are you already just complaining? Can you notice it before you're doing the behavior that's not effective and helpful in your life, right? But the 8 of Cups, it's time to leave. She's done this water ceremony. She's burnt the last of the old ideas and thoughts and wounds and worlds, and she's walking towards the rising sun. She's walking into a new bloom, a new chapter. It's a new time. It's time to believe. It's time to let the past go. Stop telling the old stories. Stop believing in the old wounds. Do that emotional clearing and release. It's time to do ritual. So we need to turn this card upright by feeling and releasing emotions, noticing them. So work with a coach. All my clients learn emotional empowerment at the highest levels and have my method that they take with them for the rest of their life that is worth millions, because if you have that, you can create anything that you want to create and solve any problem that you ever deal with. Move beyond intention to belief. It's not just like making decisions. Making a decision means you follow through to completion. Are you following through to completion? Are you not just intending? Anybody can just intend, anybody can just make decisions, but like are they actually done, completed? Do you actually believe in yourself? Do you let that belief drive you into action that is consistent and continual until you drive to the goal? So it's ideas are fine, but are you really moving towards the new story, moving towards the new chapter, being in the new chapter, embodying it, letting go of the old? Are you even noticing that you need to let go of anything? There's something here about like even knowing that you're kind of suppressing a bunch of emotions and not dealing with them. This buzzy mental energy can just shoot us up in our head and get us really ungrounded and kind of like overstimulated and just not connected into our body and all of the emotions that need to be worked with. All right, sending you lots of love. If you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com, and also book a free discovery call for coaching if you've been wanting to transform your life and finally accomplish your goals. Sending you lots of love. I'll talk to you next time. Scorpio, 8th house, new moon for you, sex, death, taxes. This is the deep connection to intimacy and resources and money and your clients' money and what you're bringing in. You know, this is that mutable energy. This is world creation energy with this sesco square to Pluto in the 4th. Like, your inner security is going to determine a lot about how much connection that you create with other people that feels genuine and authentic and allows you to heal, allows you to move forward, allows you to be healing to others in your work to help them move forward. There's a lot here about like the water trine. You know, we've got the South Node in the 12th house. And so there's this water trine. This is the trine of the soul. This is about a lot of healing, like the subconscious realms, the past life realms, the secure sense of security in this life that allows you to be confident or to be inferior, and then to show up in ways that really are ineffective and not moving you forward as much as you could be, not being as much of an expert or as much of a powerhouse as you could be, not affecting more lives as you could be if you were secure from the inside out. So this is, you know, power dynamics and struggles, but like we really want to get our security from the inside out. Saturn here in your 5th, about creative self-actualization, children, romance, you know, so what's going on here for you personally? This is really reclaiming your imagination to dream the world into being day to day, the life you really want to have. Quit thinking you're stuck, quit being the victim of it, the victim of your children, you know, like get some help, get a coach, change something, put new habits in place, think better thoughts, and take back control, agency over your mind, take back control and agency over your emotions. And this is really this Mars in your 6th house of day-to-day life, of lifestyle, of your health, and the square to Pluto. Like, this could be a health challenge that is meant to shift you, liberate you, give you a paradigm shift, like shift you out of places that are no longer serving you. Like, but this is, you know, something where it's time to act, it's time to move, it's time to implement. This could be implementing a new schedule, routine, a new self-care regimen, where you know this has been coming. Whatever you've been working on since February, it's time to go. And you know what it is. And so in this 8th house, this could be like deep spiritual psychic development, ending all like really moving forward on your healing journey, really like finally healing deep stuff that you've become newly aware of and awake to. This could be like cement, like just really connecting with the path and your purpose and where you're going, and that you are really conscious and connected to it all now, and all in on it, and things are moving positively ahead, but it is action that must be taken. Let's pull you some cards, Scorpio. Make sure to throw down a like on this video. You can share this with someone. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. And if you've been wanting to transform your life and accomplish your goals, you can book a free discovery there as well. You got the 7 of Pentacles. This is always like about the steady, steadfast, you know, implementation, consistent effort over time, the concentrated actions that keep adding up a momentum, a default pattern that they put in place of habits and good habits of what you want to see yourself doing every single day. You know, that 6th house there, you it's tending to the plant, watering the plant. All the seeds are you know, have been planted here, and so it's to continue to plant good seeds and nurturing them emotionally, mentally, with your beliefs, and doing that, and the action steps, how you show up, your belief, partnering with the divine. What else wants to come forward for you? And this is wielding, it's a 2 of Pentacles. It's wielding the help of the divine. It's believing in yourself. There's a joy, there's a connection deep within, and like this really internal place from which you're gathering your strength and your energy to move forward. But this is really asking you to move forward, put the energy into the world, take actions, measured actions, conscious, aware actions, but to believe in what you're creating and to believe that you have all of the energy with which to implement and accomplish and to move through the whole journey, and that it's okay to rest at the times where that's needed. Self-care is productive. Self-care is productive. And this card came out again. So there's just really something really important about this. You got the 7 of Swords in reverse. There's like mind junk that's getting in the way, that's stopping you, creating doubt, creating gunk that's, just interfering. It's almost like knives and daggers. It's like the wounds coming out, it's just like it's really skewing everything in a negative way and making it seem like it's bad when it's not. And I think this is really about the way you're thinking about yourself. And it's just time to just like flip a switch and just go from here to here and just like put yourself at this level and start thinking of yourself at this higher level and believing in yourself at that higher level, and just flip the switch and just decide and then step into it. And you might have to make that commitment each morning, but you recommit each morning to the woman you believe in, the you that is worth it, that's deserving, that is amazing, and stop just letting any thought be in your brain, pattern interrupt it, that is a thought that's negative about you. No more. Like, you just have to decide no more. There was a moment where I just decided I wouldn't let any negative thought be in my own brain about myself. And what happened was sometimes I wouldn't catch it in the moment. I had to start getting good at catching it and being like, oh, I'm like sitting here thinking a negative thought about myself, because I'd be driving or whatever, and it would just be like an old pattern. It was just like an old way I was. And I had to like literally stop, pull it out of my brain and separate myself from it and see that thought that like, oh, I'm having this impression that I'm a bad person, or I'm doing something wrong, or I'm not good enough somehow. And I had to be like, oh no, we're not doing that anymore. And I just decided. And so I had to notice and then pull them out and say no more, and like literally like excavate impressions, energies, ideas, and internalizations out of my psyche. It's a body of work that is so worth it, that will change your life. Unstick the stuck. So there's something here that is like I said, I think this is just a flip, a switch that you need to flip. That it's like a choice, a decision. You can literally just make the choice, make the decision. This is my new way of being. This is who I am. This is what's happening. Sometimes 3 days from now, it can almost feel like the default. You wake up just with the default. All of a sudden, you have to choose again and make the decision again, or like, water the decision again, like fertilize the decision again, but there's like, where are you stuck? I'm just trying to tap into. There's something about travel. There's some question or issue about travel, and I think it's like wanting to like plan everything too much in advance and not letting spirit do its part. You can only do your part. Let the universe and the divine do its part, like partner with the divine and plan things to the amount that you can, but at some point you got to let go and believe that everything's going to work out and be okay. So, all right, Scorpio, sending you lots of love. All right, let's go. Sagittarius, Gemini, new moon in your 7th house of relationships, with these trines to the south node, and your 11th of friendships, and also of like your goals, objectives, your benefactors, like the things that are here to help you and to just work out in your favor. And Pluto sesquisquare, the challenge, the difficulty, maybe crises in your 3rd house of like your mind and the way you're thinking about things is maybe making the relationship worse or better, or keeping you stuck in relationships that don't serve you, or getting out of them. And this is about new energy. This is about moving into the new defaults, new ways of thinking, gathering up the gifts, bringing your gifts to the world, but gathering up the gifts, like understanding who's for you and who's not for you, and letting relationships go. They're not serving you. The Saturn in your fourth house, about you can be trying to hold on to relationships for security, and you can never get security from outside yourself. The only real security will only ever come from within, and that's what you have to work on and build up. That's what I help so many of my clients do, because then you don't keep relationships that aren't worthy in your life. Like, you don't let people be in your life that don't deserve you and that treat you poorly. And a lot of people are treated poorly in a lot of micro ways, a lot of millions of micro ways, where they're just not appreciated. They let these people kind of treat them in these ways for so long, where it just seems like it's normal, and it's not good. It could just be like making fun of you all the time, and maybe you even think it's funny, but really it's always saying negative things about who you are. And it's like, do you really, like, is that something that's actually really positive in your life? Like, are they? You have this Mars square Pluto. Mars is in the fifth house of creative self-actualization, Pluto in your house of your mindset. Like, are you thinking in a way? Are you perceiving the world? Are you building your dreams and your visions and making intellectual property and making your dreams come true, putting your work out in the world? Are you launching the program, doing the master class, writing the book, like um getting yourself out there? This is time to um, make sure to nurture and build relationships that are long term, that benefit you, and where you can benefit them, where it can be mutually valuable and reciprocal and loving and uplifting. It's time to believe in yourself at the highest level and make your goals happen. It's time to build your network, heal the old wounds. And it's about everything to do about how you're thinking about things and how you're feeling emotionally, and if you're feeling secure or not. And those things feed off of each other. So how you think creates your emotions, and your emotions, whether they're released and processed or not, keeps old stories in place that aren't true and that are maybe holding you back, holding you down. All my clients learn my method. You got the Eight of Cups. It's time. She's done a ceremony. She's released the old patterns, the old stories, the old ways, the emotions. She knows how to cleanse emotions from her body, her field, and release them. And she's walking towards the sun, into the blue sky, into a new life. It's time to start the new. There's a new life starting, but there is work on your part required of feeling your emotions, and letting go of old habits, and looking at the way that you're thinking about things. You got the Hermit, and this could be getting a body of work done, of going within, being still within, connecting to the truth of who you are, not letting this buzzy energy take you too much into the mind. But also, this is not like, don't take yourself away from the world. We can hermit within moments or within projects, but it doesn't mean we're not in the greater world. So we need to be connected to community. It's super important. And we got justice. This is about divine justice and the scales balancing out, but also about you standing up for what's right, speaking your voice, being that clear heroine for what's right in the world, and what should be the way things are, and facing the difficulty and the challenges that may come with somebody who's speaking out, putting boundaries in place, and asking for their needs to be met. There's something here about working on the project, getting still and going within, because there's something that you're healing, there's something that you're changing and growing and shifting. I really get that there's some sort of old wound. There's something that needs healed, and it's going to take going into stillness. and working with the emotions and the way that you narrate the whole situation that's happened. But there is a new life, and it's asking you to do ritual and to do that work. Let's pull you a card from the Sacred Creators. So what do you really want in a protection message? X marks the spot. It's like there's some sort of disconnection with believing that you get to have what you really want to create. And so therefore, like just kind of being lackadaisical and like leaving it off in the horizon, like this dream, like the whole Pisces, like dissolving and like, oh, I'm dreaming it or I'm fantasizing about it all the time, but I'm not actually like believing I can create it and then doing it. And this is about getting real about what you want, owning the vision of what you truly want, believing in it, and then taking and setting this new pattern in place of you taking concentrated small steps towards it consistently over time, building the new patterns in place, and that will make it happen. Sending you lots of love, Sag. You can book an astrology reading on empoweredwomanrise.com. If you've been wanting to transform your life and finally accomplish those goals, you can book a free discovery call there as well. Please like this video, and I'll see you on the next one, empoweredwomanrise.com. All right, let's go, Capricorn. New moon for you in the 6th house. This is day-to-day life. It's healing, it's health, it is being in service to others. It's humility with these trines to the south node in your 10th. Career, so career, soul mission, the south node, so the wounds, the shadows, the ouch points, right? But there's trines here, but we have to act upon that healing that wants to be done, the things that are coming up. But the sesqui squares, a crisis, challenge, difficulty, taking action with Pluto in the 2nd house of survival, not really going for your true purpose because you just feel like you have to stay safe and cautious and work on survival and work on what makes you feel secure and safe. And so you stay kind of in these old cycles, old patterns, old places, and you're not moving beyond that. And so you never go for the big goal that you really want and have the lifestyle that you really want. This is about a new lifestyle. This is about having lifestyle you really want. Like, what do you want to do? I work with women who are skaters and surfers and are snowboarders and skiers and mountain climbers and who swim with sharks and do amazing things and have all of these hobbies of motorcycling and skateboarding and acrobatics, and are having a business where they accomplish big goals and help the world, and they're making money as women and repatterning our whole lineage as women in the world today. And so it's like, what is the lifestyle that you want to live? You don't have to have any lifestyle that's been ever presented to you. You get to make your own schedule, your own way, your own patterns, live your life the way that you want. And there's something here about something new. Gemini is new. It's something about the way you think about it needs to go. There's a square here to Saturn in your 3rd house of the way you're thinking and perceiving things. It's malleable. It's time to reclaim your imagination. Stop with the old patterns, the old story, the old dark shadow lands, the old wounds. Get a coach, get help, reprogramming your mind, your subconscious, and also taking back agency over your thoughts and thinking deliberately, creating your world, creating the world that you want, believing in yourself, and doing something that's going to be of your heart for the long term. Mars here in your 4th house of inner security, inner emotional security. There's a lot here about autonomy and this, taking back your power, the square to Pluto in the 2nd. There's something here about like not feeling secure enough and safe enough to build the dream, to do your business, to step up to the next level. It's time to do that. Either that, or you've been working on something for a long time and you're feeling shaky, a little scared, the wounds and old patterns are coming up, and it's time to just bust through all that, forget about it. It's not true. It's just all mind junk. It's all, the shadowlands coming up to scare you, just to try to draw you in one last time. Don't believe your own thoughts. Don't believe all the bullshit in your own mind. Let's pull you some cards, Cap, and get some more clarity here. You got the Seven of Wands. I love this card. So, wands it's in protection though. So wands are all about that fire energy, that energy of enthusiasm, passion, creativity, creation, and being able to go for it. But there's something here about believing in the light within you, and it's in protection. So it's saying you're not believing in yourself. You're kind of dragged down into all the darkness. Like I keep getting all of these visions from all of these images that are like the Shadowlands. It's almost kind of like in the movie Ghost, where all of the like spirits come up, or like the shadowy, are like trying to take them down. And it's like that. It's like the Shadowlands came up, grabbed a hold of you, and you started believing in it and got stuck in the belief that you're disempowered, that you're stuck, that you're trapped, that you'll never get out, that the wounds or difficulties that you're having, like, you got to get out of that. You got to shake it up. Stop listening to the TV that you're listening to, the people you're listening to, the places. You got to put new podcasts in, new books, new audiobooks, new people, new friends, new people that believe in you. You got to believe in yourself. You got to manage your mind and get agency over your mind. If you're not working with a coach to manage your brain and you don't know how to do thought work, you got to change that. You have to do thought work in today's world to be successful and to be powerful, period, end of story. All of my clients learn this, and almost every coach I know that is like a solid coach teaches their clients that. So, you know, you got the Queen of Pentacles. She values herself. There's something here about not valuing yourself at the highest level. You have Pluto in your second that's trying to destroy all of the self-doubt, the low self-esteem, the people who devalued you, the difficulties that have happened to you that have made you not value yourself at the highest level. And it's time to value yourself. It's time to believe in yourself and to show yourself that you value yourself by the actions you take, the habits you put in place and keep in place, the things that you do, the way you keep your appearance, how you show up for yourself, how you take care of yourself. And you got the Magician. I just like this card. So that's what it looks like. Sorry, I got sucked in by the vortex of the card. Gotten this. Anyways, but it's in a protection message. It's just like saying that you forgot the magic and the partnering with the divine that you have and are to create worlds, to create magic in this world, that like you have it within you to literally create nothing out of something. Like, this is such malleable energy. This is world building energy, as I've been saying. This is the time to reclaim your imagination, see it, believe it, take small steps towards it. And it's truly about believing it into place and letting magic happen, letting the divine come in and do its part. But give the divine places to land, because you planted all the plants. So the butterfly of the divine can come and land on all the plants, and you're pollinating something out into the world that's magical. Like, if you don't do your part, the divine can't help you because it can't land anywhere. It's not because it doesn't want to. And you got the Seven of Pentacles of like watering the seed, consistent action, long-term consistent action, which Capricorn, if it's your rising, you have that ability. If it's your sun, it's what you're developing. That may be the hardest thing for you. You just let the Shadowlands take hold, or some challenges kind of take hold. It's okay. And we go through patterns. We go through, not patterns is what I meant to say. We go through cycles. We go through down moments, but this is a moment with this energy. You want to capitalize on this energy. So do whatever you got to do to get yourself up. Exercise, get out of it, do handstands, jump up and down, get state changes, like just do smile therapy and laughter therapy, and just like laugh at nothing until you're finally giggling for real. Fearless self-expression. Put yourself out there, get out of your boxes, get out of your comfort zones, stretch yourself, believe in yourself, and put yourself out in this world. You got this, Capricorn. Sending you lots of love. And if you want to finally accomplish those goals and get real transformation, you could book a free discovery call on empoweredwomenrise.com for my 6-month coaching program. Sending you lots of love. All right, let's do this. You got Aquarius, you got a Pluto in your first house, all about this new beginning, transformation. A new identity, a new character, a new role, but it's not even just for this lifetime. It's really for lifetimes. This is a new evolutionary cycle here. And the sesqua square to this new moon, this Gemini new moon, all this Gemini energy in your fifth house of taking your will to create your destiny. This could be children for you. This could be romance. What's going on here for you? Which is it? These trines to the south node in this ninth house of expertise, being in alignment with natural law, long distance travel. This could be where you're literally somebody that's doing retreats and long distance and doing transformational on-site location like experiences with people. This could just be you. It's time to stand up as the leader that you are, and there's the old wounds, but you have all this great energy to flush that out, build a new story, believe in yourself, think new things, put a new story in place with the square to Saturn in your second house of your wealth. You're valuing yourself, you're like your house and car and money and all of the basics. It could be survival, or it could be thriving and building and growing something for the long term. It's malleable energy. It is Saturn here, though, that can be restrictive. It can be catalyzing you and wanting you to value yourself at the next highest level. And so going through these hard, difficult things to push you to go beyond, to believe in yourself at a higher level, to create something more, something bigger, like think bigger, believe in yourself more. This Mars in the third house of your mind perception, your intellectual property, squaring Pluto in your first. It's time to step out and become the you that stands as an authority, that stands as an autonomous being, that knows who you are. Yes, ever changing and shifting. We shift things about ourselves and we grow and evolve, but like knowing who you are and really standing in that in a powerful way, being a powerful inspiration to others, being the one that people can look to and be inspired by. Be whatever your goal is, be that now. So accomplished entrepreneur, making a certain amount per year, have accomplished a certain amount of projects or launches or books or podcasts or whatever it is. Like, be that now. What would she do? What habits would she be invoking? This is the time to invoke those habits. Take your will to create your destiny. But it's very much of like seeing yourself as an expert, being assertive, being clear on the identity of who you are. And it has a lot to do with how you're thinking. Like, it's time to get rid of the old mindset that isn't helping. All my clients learn how to think deliberately and how to control their own mind. This card's been coming up a lot. There's something about a new life here for you. Do the ritual to end the old patterns, to end the old default that's no longer serving you. Believe in yourself. There's some emotions to release. Make sure you're doing that work. You don't know how, like all my clients learn emotional empowerment. They learn my techniques and methods to release an emotion in 5 to 20 minutes. Never have big emotions controlling your life again and taking over everything. What would it be like if you were able to control your emotions like 50% better, or 50% quicker? You got the 5 of Cups. There's something about bearing the past, having the ritual, letting go of something. There's something that's on your heart. There's something that kind of needs the mourning, the wailing, the going into it, making it bigger to be able to fully release, letting it go from every part of yourself. There's, something about burying the past. This is a lot of emotions that want to be felt, released, honored. Maybe you're mentalizing all your emotions, intellectualizing them, talking them, and not being really aware of emotions. Maybe you're too cerebral in that Aquarian air energy. That's very much the case for a lot of people with all this buzzy Gemini air energy. There's just so much air ungrounded up in the mind, up in the, in our heads, and not getting down into our feeling body rolling around on the floor, like really feeling what we're feeling and getting emotional and releasing, doing that releasing work. You got the Queen of Wands, the great card, although it's in protection. You know, normally this is the card of like creation, fruition, enthusiasm, the spark of life, everything coming to a head, like all the projects you're creating, like things coming to fruition, the things that you want happening. Manifestation, powerful, like being the light, being the energy and enthusiasm, being the one on the stage, like being the creator and it coming together. But it's in a protection message saying that you must release emotions and be connected to emotions and do ritual and be grounded within the emotional self and body and before this can happen. So balance came up. So there is no, like, balance is actually just constant micro corrections, course corrections. You know, you don't sleep as much. It's not equality. You know, balance is when you feel solid. So you know when you're out of balance. You know when you're way too extreme in one direction. You know, you're just all going out all the time and you're never like in stillness and getting some home time and things at home are stacking up and you're not like balanced. You're not getting everything done in every area of your life. You're too much in one direction or too in your head or too in your feelings or, you know, whatever it is. So it's really calling you into some homeostasis here. Sending you lots of love. If you want to finally accomplish your goals and get that real transformation, you can book a free discovery call at empoweredwomanrise.com. And it's also where you can book an astrology reading if you're wanting to go into your natal birth chart and what all of this energy means for you personally, what's going down in the town. All right, sending you lots of love, Aquarius. Till next time. Pisces, let's go. So Saturn in your first house for a minute here. Changing identities, shifting, letting go of old phrases, words, branding, parts of yourself that just aren't you anymore. Also creating new ones and stepping into them and seeing if they can expand into your future. This full moon for you is in your fourth house of security, inner emotional security. So emotional security, security in general, safety, feeling safe, home, family, what all that means for you. This is a launch pad. This is launching new habits, new defaults, new ways of being, security from the inside out, safety from the inside out, and having established what that means for you. There's been a lot of discovering that way before now. And with Saturn, that square to Saturn in the first, it's time to go. It's time to implement, believe, and there's something about measured progress, consistent small efforts. You know, don't let it all disperse into nothing. Don't let it overwhelm you. That South Node in your eighth, with kind of the longing for intimacy clouding what you can create, how much you can get done, and how much that's going to allow something real and tangible to unfold that's going to give you ultimate security over time. Mars here in your second about survival that can get in the way. Mars here can create fear with Pluto, that square in your 12th. You know, it's past lives, security, valuing yourself at the highest level, money, wealth. So this is an opening square saying it's time to end, it's time to reclaim your power from all of the patterns of the past and implement a new wealth building from a sense of security within yourself, implementing this new attitude of belief, valuing yourself, building and growing something for the long term that's going to give you security over the long term. This is IP and intellectual property that's going to give you long-term security from the inside out, though, because it's something you created that you know you could always create ever after, ever again. For the rest of your life, you can always create something new. If a tornado destroys it, it's your intellectual property. It came from within you. You can always create something new. So that's real security when it comes from the inside out. You got the Ace of Cups. There's this beginning here. There's this new light, this new heart, this new profound place of security and emotional beginning, implementing a new emotional way of being in the world, a belief in yourself, of how you see your vision, how you see what you're building and creating, how you see yourself in the world. It was in protection. So there's some emotions that need processed and released. Are you doing that? Do you know how to do that? All my clients learn that skill. They have it for the rest of their life ever after. You got the Emperor. There's a confidence that's requested of you, it's required, going out in the hero's journey, belief in yourself, and almost like this ignorance that's a healthy ignorance of like not even allowing what's negatively possible to be entertained at all, like ignorant to it. It's a good kind of ignorance where it's not going to be damaging. It's going to allow you to overcome obstacles that are just all creations of our mind anyways. And you got the Five of Cups. Definitely there's some emotional there's a deep emotional gift that needs to be harvested, and a lot of emotional swirling things that need to be dealt with. Like don't go a day without handling the emotions that are coming, because they'll back up and they'll dislodge you from your path, from your momentum. You want to keep this momentum steady. You want to keep this momentum going. Let's pull you a card from the Sacred Creators. The confidence comes from being able to know how to be in stillness at the times that it's required, and how to have that homeostasis of like balanced action with stillness. You have raw intention. So let your intention be unruly and be wild and move towards it, and let it all come together for you. It's not something you have to pull together. It's coming together. It's unfolding as you're walking it. And it's wild and unruly, and it's not meant to be contained. It's not meant to be neat and orderly, and it'll come together in a neat and orderly way as it's meant to. As you do each step, it'll become clear. The clarity will come in. So there's something very much here about staying in your emotional body, grounded, out of too much mind energy, staying in pure confidence, connected to the divine and the divine path and divine mission, and what you know the vision is that you're creating and doing and implementing, making sure you're always connected to that deep inner place of emotional strength, feeling your emotions, not letting them get built up, using them as a gift, you activating them to move you forward, and letting your intention be raw and wild, and everything unfold as it needs to. Sending you lots of love, Pisces. Really powerful, cool reading. And if you'd like to book a free discovery call for my 6-month coaching program, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. Also, you can book an astrology reading there. And please throw down a like on this video. Sending everyone lots of love, and I'll see you on the next video.